Hey guys, welcome to our last review episode of the
Forever.
summer 2024 reviews. Yeah. And it is episode 255 here. After this one again, we are going to head straight off into fall season. We are a little bit late on the live recording, 10:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over on the East Coast of the United States and Canada. I am your host Spire, and with me are my compatriots Near,
It's not my fault.
Toast,
Huh? Hello.
and Dark.
Hi.
Yes, it is unfortunately my fault, and I apologize for the delay. Let's start right off 2 weeks real briefly. Near, starting with you. How have your past couple of weeks been?
Near. What's up with your progressive party?
With what progressive party?
Why did they dump why did they dump Trudeau? Don't they love Trudeau over there?
Oh, the NDP? No. Nobody likes Trudeau over here, actually. Um, but yeah, they I forget what exactly they dropped. They like dropped out of some deal that they were doing, which fucks over Trudeau's minority government, which means we might have an election soon, which I'm not looking forward to, but yeah, fun stuff. Other than that, not too much gotcha shit.
Yeah,
Rolled
all the
Jane Doe
gotchas.
in Zenless. Took a bit more
Did you
resources
like
than I
did you
would have
like what I
liked, but
posted by the way to you about the Mahjong stuff? Is the Mahjong skills stuff? Is that
um,
is all that stuff real?
I think that's from Ricci City, which is a
Okay.
different. I forget what
Really?
company. Yeah, I forget
I
what company makes that, but
There are two like mod
yeah,
is
because I think Mahjong Soul is like the most popular, and then Ricci
okay.
City is like kind of like tailing behind it. But I
How
think
recent
Ricci
is Reach City?
I think
Or like
it's a bit younger. I think it's only like maybe 2 or 3 years old now. But yeah, it's got a lot of fucking like absolute fucking gooner skins. Um,
Is
it's
it Azur
probably.
Lane time near? Is it Azur Lane time? Hell yeah.
I mean, it's not quite Azure Lane levels, but it's getting there.
Hell
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean,
so
Azure
I
Lane
guess the
is like a
comparison is
fucking
like
H
Concord versus
game, dude.
Azure Lane,
Like,
right? Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Azure Lane at this
So,
point is pretty much.
Is it
um,
Azur Lane's the top? Really? Before you get to the actual H games, is he saying? Are you saying?
bro, yeah, dude. Have you like? I'm honestly amazed that like Azure Lane gets away with any of the shit that it does.
They
Like,
got a they
Yeah,
got
that
re-
is
they
true.
got a limited on Twitter or whatever. I'm
yeah,
sorry, X.
they've basically been
Hell
like,
yeah.
their like official Discord is like, yeah, you can't post any of the official art from our game because it's basically fucking porn.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
yeah,
Hold on, who's the mouse girl in from, is it Zenless, Zone Zero?
Yeah, right.
yeah,
That's Jane Doe.
Jane Doe,
What's
And
her
she's a
name?
rat.
Jane Doe.
Isn't she the one that I've seen without the skin suit? With just the, or was that a mod?
What do you mean?
I've seen gameplay of Jane Doe with just her with just
Just her
her
like jean top on. Yeah, that's a
just
mod.
her jacket. Is
Yeah,
that a
that's
mod?
definite. That
It's
is a
definitely a
mod.
mod, bro.
Oh,
Yeah.
Which,
damn, what a waste.
bold of people to be modding fucking gotcha games like that. You will not
Yeah.
catch me doing that shit.
I still haven't seen reports of anybody getting banned for that, which is kind
Yeah,
of
neither
crazy.
have I, but
Jane,
I'm never
hold on, hold
I'm
on.
never risking
Yeah,
that. That
I
is
feel like
Jane Barefoot,
I
Zenless,
feel like
Zone Zero
the
mods.
day of reckoning may come for all those people, and at that point,
Yeah.
it's just like you got your own. It's your own fault, really.
Everybody run for the hills, yeah.
Yeah, but
Okay.
yeah, my 2 weeks have been pretty quiet.
Pretty quiet.
Like,
Okay.
yeah.
Pretty good. All right. Well then thank you, Near. What about you, Dark?
Yeah, mine have been pretty all right. I've been doing gotcha shit. Um Repicked up Genshin just like kind of briefly, not really like grinding out too much in that, just kind of like chipping away at quests every now and then. Also Zenless Zone Zero got Jane after blowing all the rest of my resources again, which I won the 50/50, so, lucky me. Then I said, fuck it, I'll drop $15 on the 10 roll that was in the shop to YOLO pull for her weapon. Managed to get that in 110 roll. Don't know how I did that, but I did. Well, my luck has been pretty good there. Yeah, just been playing a shitload of MMOs still. Been playing WoW expansion, very good, very fun. And been playing Star Wars: The Old Republic. And oh yeah, and also catching up on John Wick. I'm halfway through John Wick 2 because I had only seen
Okay.
some of that. But yeah, good movie. Some might disagree, but I'm gonna be bold and brave enough to say John Wick 2, pretty good movie.
You
But have you
say
seen
it's
John Wick 3?
somewhat decently
No, I
popular.
haven't seen I hadn't seen any John Wick other than parts of 2 and like all of 1. So I got a
What
lot
do you
to
like
get
better?
through. So
Okay,
far,
pretty-
probably 1, but 2 has a lot of really cool action. So,
Okay, pretty
I forget
good.
is two the one with the subway, the dumbass subway scene.
Yes.
I think so. I think that's later. Yeah, 2 is also the
I
one with
hate that
like the
scene
Rome
so much. I hate that
Coliseum
scene so
scene.
much.
Yeah,
I
the
think
subway scene
I
is very
think
dumb.
I like
think
the
I
Roman
like
Coliseum scene.
I think I like 3.
3's the one with the is the one with the shootout at the place. You know what I'm talking about here with the mate
Yeah.
with the green lights. I like that scene.
I think out of all
Which
of them
one is the
though,
museum one? Which one is the museum one?
What museum? Oh,
I
but
think
Oh, sorry, not
it's
the museum, but like the party or whatever, the night
oh
party, and you just like,
Party?
yeah, the
You're
night
talking about
party, that's
that's
2.
2. Yeah.
oh yeah,
hold on, the
I like
night
that one,
party
but
or the nightclub? Which one?
Aren't those
no, the
well,
nightclub is
1 is a
4,
nightclub,
right,
but
or
isn't
whatever.
what is 2? Because I'd seen part of 2 with the mirror room. That's also that is also 2, right? The mirror.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Because I
think
had seen that because that was on
I think
TV
in
at some
terms of
point.
just like raw like individual action sequences, 4 is like
They amp it up each movie.
yeah, like 4 is like
I
so
mean,
fucking over the top.
yeah, when they
Like
got to 4, everybody knew what they were in for, like,
yeah,
so
but like
they were just locked in, yeah.
the choreography is in 4 is just like actually absurd. So
I mean,
You like
Especially
that
the one with like
2
the
is really
knife
good
fighting, yeah.
as well.
that
yeah.
top down scene was all in one shot. Pretty
Yeah, the
good.
top down scene, the scene where they're like fighting in the middle of fucking traffic. Um the stairs scene was fucking awesome. Yeah, 4 is really good.
Yeah, I think as
Okay.
far as like choreography and action, I prefer 2 right now. I think as an overall movie, like 1 is going to be hard to top for me because I think it's like just the start of something super special, right? Like the entire concept of the movie, um, just the origin, all of the lines, um,
Yeah.
and especially shit like just the actor. I mean, granted, 2 also has great actor cameos as like characters. Um, but like ones with like Willem Dafoe showing up and shit is so sick. So
Willem
gonna
Dafoe's
be
in
hard to top.
everything. Good for him.
Anyways, thank you, Dark.
You should watch 3 and 4,
And
Dark.
I'm
all right,
going to.
I want to, yeah, I do want to move on. I guess for me, it wasn't, it was pretty quiet. I was running around a little bit because I had to make some appointments, but relatively busy. I did catch up to some stuff. I also, because I was interested, I checked out what was it? It was that somebody posted that news of like the freaking the Yandere Dark Elf getting an anime, and I checked like a couple of chapters of it out, and then it just ended up being essentially like close to Shota Smut, right? It was what
Oh,
was that?
that one?
Kanmini-san? What was that other Shota kind of smut-ish series where it was like the house Sunohara? Sunohara-san something like that, right?
Sonohara-san with
Yeah,
like
Sunohara-san.
the
It was kind of
arena
similar to
Satao is
that.
like the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
One-san character
Yeah,
and
yeah,
shit.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah.
I'll
It
just
was
tell
kind
you
of similar to
now.
that, in my
Just tell
opinion.
you now, Spire, that
Yeah. Well,
just like with Pochi, there's a R18 version of it, and
oh
yeah.
my fucking god. Yeah. It's
Spire,
like it
what's your
was just all
favorite?
Tsuma.
What's
I
your
was like,
favorite
okay.
tag? What's your favorite tag for Shoto stuff?
So don't
For
answer that
what stuff?
question.
Specific.
Do not
What stuff?
answer that question.
Okay.
I
I
think
don't know.
I mean, do you? I saw some and I was like, oh no,
I
thanks.
think
This
the
is not
only
for
the
me.
only really
What
correct
do you?
answer in this context is the
I don't even know
no
what the
sexual
question
content
was.
tag.
I don't even know what the question was. What was the
What's your
question?
favorite tag in One Shota in Anime
I
Spire?
don't have any favorite tags
Because
related to Onishota.
I read the R18 version and I was like, whoa, this is too much for me.
Whatever the tags are that are related to it, I don't like any of them.
Would you like to know the tag?
No,
yeah, fence
because it's not
sitter.
a.
Okay.
Here, let
Yeah.
me. I'll tell you in the Discord.
No
There you
thanks. But
go.
yeah,
There you
it was
go.
pretty quiet overall. Um,
Do you see it?
but I was what the fuck, bro?
Yeah,
It
that's why
was
I'm like, no
so,
thanks.
so I was looking at some uh general like I was going back to like the larger kind of tags with like slice of life, whatever, and I was kind of looking through stuff, and I kind of realized that um I kind of want to get back more into reading a lot of manga, just because again, I for a long time I've always been like manga. I think is currently leading the. I mean, it has for a long time, but I think it's really leading the industry right now in terms of bringing in people with new ideas, proper like more bold ideas. Obviously, there's a lot of same bland stuff or mixing up the tags. Oh, there's two gatos who's nice to otaku and they're also maids and they're also tsundere or blah blah blah. Just mixing all these rom-com slice of life tags together. There's a lot of stuff like that, but I think there's also a lot of stuff that also kind of pushes the boundaries of introducing new ideas and themes and premises. So I kind of wanted to get back into it, but anyways, that's pretty much been it for me. What about you, Toast? Toast is dead.
Oh, me? Hello.
Yes.
What's today's date, Spire?
It's the 7th?
Yeah, and you know what's so cool about the 7th? Today is a very
What
special day.
what is it?
It's your birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank you very much, except it's not at all my birthday.
Well, it's someone's birthday. You know whose birthday it is, Spire?
Whose birthday is it?
Someone more important than you or me. Someone
Okay.
loved throughout the world. Who am I talking about?
Who is it? I have no idea.
Donald Trump.
That's close.
Donald Trump. Probably one of the Hololive members? I don't know.
Correct. It is Tokinosaur's debut day today,
Oh right. There was
which
the
means today is the birth of Hololive.
no, that was I mean, it was yesterday, right? Because you're talking about
Oh, it's
Japan
today
Japan
7.
time. Japan, yeah. It was because
Well,
she
we
had
don't live in
I
Japan,
saw her
Spire.
counters.
It's today. It's the
I saw
7th here, and that counts to me.
yeah, I think I linked the countdown stream, didn't I? Yeah, I think I linked the
Oh,
countdown stream about yesterday. But that was nice. It was Tokinosara having her I think 7 years or 6 years? 7 years, right? Yeah, it was 7 years. That was very I was shocked honestly. Like 7 years is a long, long time in this sort of industry. So that was nice.
what do you mean long time?
7 years is a long time to be continuing to do these activities, especially as that like one singular VTuber within this industry
I
where
know,
so many
Spire.
people kind of dip in and out.
How long has
How long is who?
Masako Nozawa been Goku?
I,
These,
she's not a
these are not.
That is
These are
also
VTuber.
not.
I
very. That
don't.
is very different.
Yeah,
What's the
she's also
difference?
not a VTuber. I think there's quite a big difference.
What's the
uh,
difference?
One happens in a
yeah, there.
studio booth, and the other happens on live stream.
Yeah, exactly.
But they
And
have
you
a
have to.
studio booth. But yeah, pretty
Yeah.
cool. What
Okay.
else? Oh yeah. I got trapped. I got trapped in an escape room one time. When was it? When did I post the image? I don't know.
Uh,
Tuesday, Wednesday. You
mm,
remember that image I posted about free ice cream leading down to some creepy stairs with animatronics?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
End
looking
up
for. I saw a sign for free ice cream outside, like when I was driving, and I went inside, but it was an escape room. That was fun.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just stumbled in and I was like, what is this? And I'm like, hey, you want to join? And there was already a group there, and they're like, hey, you want to join? I was like, okay.
What the fuck? Okay.
Got a free escape room. That was fun.
That's interesting.
Apparently,
All
yeah,
right.
there escape rooms are well hidden around this area. I didn't even know there was one.
I didn't know you could just enter into, random hidden escape
You're
room.
not supposed to, but the group
Yeah,
there
yeah,
was pretty
exactly.
chill. So I was like, oh, cool.
Okay.
Hey man, want to escape?
Yeah.
What?
Want to get trapped and start escaping? Okay. Pretty good. I guess that was it mostly. And
What else? Uh,
yes. No? Guess if that's it, then
oh yeah,
I'll move on.
there's salmonella floating around.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that is by you as well, specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah, careful.
Oh yeah,
That is very fortunate.
don't
Yeah.
worry, I'm not eating eggs.
That reminds me, I saw
I
somebody.
get my eggs from Costco, not what is it? Milo's Poultry Farms.
True.
That reminds me, I saw somebody next. I saw one of my coworkers just a couple of days ago eating a Chipotle at lunch. I was like, this company
Based.
has had like 50 food recalls, and you're
All right.
still
I mean,
ordering
like
Chipotle.
Chipotle
Like,
is one
It's called
thing.
being a
I would say
gambling man, dude.
it'd be bolder if they were like, "Yo, I'm gonna eat an entire just stacked sandwich of boar's head cold cuts."
yeah. My mom actually texted me to warn me about Borzet. I'm like, like I've never bought really any Borzet stuff because it's just too expensive for what it actually tastes like. So I've just been like, whatever.
Oh,
How is it
does not
so
like
expensive?
gourmet cold cuts. Okay.
I see it. I see it. I saw
Gourmet
it at Duel.
salami.
Oh,
Yeah. Anyways,
or what else?
thank you.
Oh yeah, Ian Recco's pretty cool. Today's the last day before something happens.
What the
And
fuck
hot
is
take,
that?
it's a Minecraft RP server. Pretty cool.
Oh,
Hot take, it's better than the regular server because
wow.
the premise is they all lost their memory, so now they're wandering around as amnesia-ridden stuff and doing cool stuff. Much better. Hot take, it's much better than the regular Minecraft server for EN. Pretty cool mods, and today's the last day of week 1, which is uh, Myth. So right after this is a Promise. Hope Crony comes back because she's in Promise. Just saying, she's in Spain right now. So whatever. But yeah, it's fun. Fauna Mart's cool. Yeah, good Minecraft shit. I was initially skeptic. I was like, oh, what's this big announcement from the concert? And I thought it would be grander than just some Minecraft servers, but overall the interactions are fun.
Well, I
Yeah.
guess thank you, Toast, then, and for 2 weeks. And I guess we'll just move right on. The first thing that we have is actually Toast. Toast
What?
is first on the line here.
Hello.
What are you covering for us today?
Do you guys like Mega Man?
No,
Ew.
I hate Mega Man.
Hi. It's
I'm a big
yeah,
I'm
Mega
fan.
Man is
glad it's
okay.
fucking dead.
I'm a bigger fan than Capcom,
What's your
evidently.
favorite Mega Man game?
Uh,
You could even
game or
extend
series?
you can extend like overall. You can go to X.
I think overall series, honestly, is probably always going to be BattleNet.
Battle. Okay. How about you,
Yeah, I
Nier?
mean, if we're talking pure side scrollers, it's
I've never played a Mega Man game in
probably
my life.
probably
What?
probably X if it's side scrollers.
Oh, which X? The original?
I like X6 a lot. I think X6 is really fun.
That's a hot take.
X5 is fun.
People hate X6.
I like X4 through 6. I mean, X6, like, some of it was whack, but I think the armor was fun. I think the abilities are fun. I think the bosses were good up until, like, the end. The end gauntlet was really bad.
How about you?
Those
How about you,
bosses are
Spire?
ass. And also, it's not
Don't really.
X7, so, like, whatever.
Because hot take. I also like Mega Man X6 is my favorite. Shadow Armor's pretty cool, but everyone hates X6 because it's was made in 3 months and has really bad. And I do admit it has really bad level design. Like that, the spike traps in Raining Turtleoid.
Dude, they're
How dare they?
brutal.
And there's one part in what is it? Like the gate stages where you need a dash, so you can't do it with Shadow Armor unless you do some really weird text.
Yep.
That's not fun. But
Yeah,
I
or you
learned the
have to
text all good.
launch yourself up and then fall.
And then it's that one platforming thing where you need high jump and a long dash.
What does that to do with your series?
What?
We're getting a
But
little
yeah.
bit
Anyway,
off
no, this is
tangent.
on topic. What are you talking about?
What series are you covering, Ben?
Okay, well, do you know the difference between Mega Man X and Mega Man?
Oh, one's more blue.
No.
Dark, do you know the difference?
I don't know, like, I don't know if I remember the actual difference between, like, character-wise, but I know one is, like, X is after Reploids started being able to kill humans.
Mega Man X is the original Reploid, which all Reploids are designed from, but that's close.
Yeah, and then
Basically,
Mavericks were...
what I'm getting at is that Mega Man X or Mega Man is a robot, so he follows the laws, 3 laws of robot. Was it Asimov's laws?
Yeah.
Laws of robotics.
Yeah. 3 laws
But
of
X,
robotics.
but X has true artificial intelligence, and he has free thinking, unlike Mega Man. That's what makes him different. That's the difference between them and whatnot. Where am I going with this?
Good question.
Okay, so the series Toast is covering is BokuTsuma wa Kanjou ga nai, also
Yeah,
known
that.
as My Wife Has No Emotion. It is BokuTsuma for short. It is a manga original. I believe what studio is this covered by? Is this Tezuka? Oh, Tezuka Productions. That's that's pretty good actually.
Yeah,
Oh, so Tezuka, infamously known for obviously the Mega Man, or not Mega Man. What the God damn it,
really?
Toast. You
Oh
mean
yeah.
Bro's
yeah?
brain
Sorry,
is
Astro Boy.
scrambled.
Yeah, bro. This tangent went on for way too long, Toast. But the Astro Boy, excuse me.
Oh, there
The
you go.
You
series.
also forgot
Yeah,
a
excuse me.
Dororo, dude. That's also a Tezuka special.
Yeah,
Has
exactly.
no relation to robots at all.
Yeah, but Astro Boy, and it's a little bit cute that Tezuka Productions is the one heading BokuTsuma, although probably not a coincidence to be honest. But yeah. Anyways, please,
Yeah.
can you
So,
cover the? Do you want to just go on with
so the
review?
story is the main character Takuma Kosugi. He's living a boring salaryman life after is it 3 years, and he's like, "Damn, I'm so lonely." So he buys a what is it? A CL series Mina, CL type Mina series, which is a type of a appliance robot in a way. Like, there's a Mina series of robots. This one is a housekeeping slash cooking robot type named Mina, and he bought him because he was lonely and he wanted like homemade food when he gets home.
Hmm.
And he's like, "Ha, damn! It's just like I'm married. Ha ha ha." Then he gets drunk, and he's like, "God, I'm so pathetic." And then he's like, "Ha ha ha! Hey Mina, you're so cute. Want to get married? Just kidding." And she's like, "Okay." And then lo and behold, they're now married.
That's like a very what is it? The Dragon Maid kind of premise, right? Because they did the same thing. Where I think a Toru, not Toru, excuse me. Um, why can't I remember the name? Kobayashi-san, right? Kobayashi-san was drunk and it's like, yeah, just like fuck it, man. Blah
Yeah,
blah.
why
And
don't
then
you
Toru ended
marry
up,
me and become
yeah,
my maid?
yeah, the
Little did
Yuri.
she
But
know.
yeah, it's kind of similar. It's kind of similar to the drunk kind of scene from there.
It'd be
But
so funny if we got
That'd
married
be
and loved each other and kissed. That'd be
yeah.
so funny.
But yeah. Anyways, so
And
the drug stuff happens, and
that's
then
literally the
yeah,
whole story. And now they're
yeah,
now they're married and they do
and then it's
fun
like
marriage
daily,
stuff
yeah,
together.
married life
So this
stuff.
is
Yep.
like episodic, right? Just like
Sure.
slice of life
Is,
shit.
is it pretty much straight out?
It
Because
is
I've read a little bit of
I
BokuTsuma.
have
Is it pretty much a straight adaptation of the
I
episodic
have
stuff in
not
the?
read the mangas, so
Oh, okay.
I've seen it around, but I declined reading the manga because I had a hunch about stuff, and I was right. So yeah,
Mhm.
basically the entire story plot is, hey, check out my cool robot, and now we're married, and like he's teaching Mina how to be like, haha, we're married, haha. What if we kissed, ha ha ha? Unless like, oh,
Are there are
my
there developing interpersonal uh relationship or not interpersonal character development kind of stuff going on? Like Mina becomes more empathetic, I guess, in a sense, or the Takuma is more just like, oh, so this is what it truly means to be in love with a robot or something like that. Is there something of that sort of development going on or
if
no?
you like character development, like does she become more human or whatnot in a way?
Yeah.
Well, apparently in this world setting, each robot has some sort of individual personality quirk embedded into it. I don't know how. They haven't really
Okay.
explained that so far. Maybe it's I don't know. Maybe they're Reploids. Just saying, it hasn't been really explored in this series, but yeah. So at the beginning, Takuma buys Mina secondhand, so he got her cheap. And
Okay.
his previous owner was complaining that she isn't very emotional or whatnot, but it's not really explained so far. Like
Wait, so
we're
are there
we're
emotional
11
robots in this
episodes
world?
in.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's my
maybe.
question. Because
Uh,
it's like if there are emotional robots in this world, then it would make more sense that the previous guy was just like, yeah, she's not very emotional. Fuck this.
Well, I
But
think
if
the
they
I was
are,
gonna say I think the implication is that like, better models have more features like that.
yeah,
Or
yeah,
what are
because
supposed to be the more expensive ones.
they bring up Mina brings up that about her previous owner that she was thrown out because she wasn't very emotional, so sold her or something and bought Super Mina, which is like an upgraded version of Mina with like full range of emotions and is taller and can do all these features and stuff. And yeah, so I guess robots have personality in a way. It's weird. Um,
so they don't really explain too much of the robot world. And it's more just like a focus on the two characters, is what you're saying, right?
I wouldn't say so because
Oh, okay. Then
there's a bit of they talk a lot about like the difference between a human and a robot and how their relationships work. But this isn't a it's a weird situation where like Takuma himself is like, haha, what if I married a robot? Unless. But
uh-huh.
for a series like this, you'd think that there would be some sort of the main the main overarching problem with with robots with human emotions be like, oh, a human and a robot could never fall in love or whatnot. Now that's like the
Yeah,
main
like the
crux
standard
of
conflicts kind of stuff.
main conflict in most stories like this. But surprisingly, there's none of this at all.
It's kind of
Because
chill. Like the Takuma is kind of like, oh, my wife acts like this, Mina acts like this, and that's
and
okay, kind of business.
Yeah, everyone's like they brought it up like when Takuma saw, he was hanging out with his supervisor and he saw his wedding ring. He's like, that's cool. Supervisor's like, hey, check out this
Right.
cool ring. He's like, maybe I should buy Mina a ring because she may be a bento. And then supervisor's like, oh, who's Mina? Is that your girlfriend? Like, no, that's my robot wife. And he's like, oh, and like you'd think there'd be some sort of conflict there, but he's like, just since she made this food, and it's good, you better treat her right. So buy her a ring. He's like, damn, okay. And it's like, there's like that's it. That's cool.
I guess
And
it's
then
similar to what would happen with us. Like, you know how right now when we hear news of, oh, this guy in Japan married Hatsune Miku or like whatever stuff like that, right? They're just people were like, what? But I'm guessing like maybe us in 5, 10, 15 years, we'll just be like, oh, okay, yeah, whatever, sure.
I mean,
It's kind
isn't
of like
that
that,
true
right?
now? It's like, hey man,
I guess that's
th-
also true
that
now in
that
a
chick
sense.
that
But
married
like
that Ferris wheel.
we're still kind of like,
I'd like
oh.
I'd like to think that the world is more progressive than what it shows on Twitter and X.
That's true.
Like actual real people would be like, that's cool, instead of trying to be racist on Twitter and X and all that.
I
But
mean,
yeah,
to be fair, there are people right now that like see AI drawings of Jesus and are like, "Wait, whoa, that's what Jesus looked like according to AI." And it's like,
It's true.
no, that's not how it works. So realistically, like, if you get a good robot with like a chatbot programmed into it, people would probably fucking like be like, "Yeah, that makes sense."
and also when Mina meets up with Super Mina, because there's most of the robots shown in the series are just like variations of Mina, because Mina's the cooking series, and then there's Super Mina, who's super expensive, but like is taller, has wide range of emotions, and her mouth can move and stuff. And then there's this business helper Mina who has like 6 arms. That was cool. But yeah, when she meets up with Super Mina in one of the episodes, Super Mina's like, "Oh, you're married to regular Mina? That's cool. Did you know overseas robot marriages are all the rage?" I was like, "Wait a minute. Are they?" And I was like, and then I brought this up with Near and Dark, and we were like, "Hey, man, why is America the one okay with robot marriages? Shouldn't it be Japan in most media?" Because name one attractive female robot in American media.
In American media?
Because yeah, I can only think of like two. One at the like one, and then
Oh,
second one
robots?
stretching it. Yeah.
The issue is it's like most
Obviously, it's Alita with her big bug eyes, dude.
True.
But near she's Japanese. But yeah, Spire, can you think of
the
any?
the issue is it's like a lot of the famous kind of AI or robot related characters I can think of have always been characters that are just like network, like Shodan, like System Shock kind of
No,
level
those
stuff
do
like that,
those
you know
do
what I mean?
not count. I'm talking actual robots.
Yeah. So it's like for
Does
me, I
Cortana
can't
count?
think of off the time.
No, she's an AI. She doesn't have a robot body.
Yeah, see, it's like a lot of a lot of the depictions, like a lot of female depictions in Western media, have always been like AI helpers, stuff like that. You know what I mean? So there's
So
not a lot of robot stuff in
so like
general.
the two examples that I brought up is one is XJ9, Jenny. What is it? My teenage robot or whatever. That one, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the second one is a Coilette. Fire, do you know who
Ooh,
Coilette is?
no,
Do you watch Futurama?
not really.
You
Yeah,
know who
I mean,
Bender
I
is?
see clip. Yes, I know.
Remember when Bender turned into a female robot to try to win the female robot Olympics?
Is the gender bender or gender
Yeah,
bender?
yeah. That's like the only one. And then like my
What
last one
about
was,
RC, dude?
who's RC?
Transformer?
I don't know who that is.
The pink one.
I don't know. Maybe. That's like one, I guess. Also, my last one was Rosie the robot from Jetsons.
No,
Mhm.
But yeah, and then you can name whoever you want on the Japanese enemy side? Near name like 3.
I guess.
Hell yeah, see 1.
Um, Alita,
Yeah,
obviously,
there you go.
and the Major
See, there you go, easy. And then
and Dorothy.
yeah, there you go, easy. But yeah, I brought that up because they're like, oh, it's popular overseas, and that's just a small discrepancy. Where was I going with this? But yeah, that's basically what the series is. Dude
Mhm.
having a fulfilling life with a robot.
Is it more like comedy focused or like lovey-dovey romance stuff?
Mostly romance stuff. There's a bit of comedy. Love comedy. It's a love comedy. There you go.
Gotcha.
But yeah. I watched 11 episodes, and the only major conflict was when Takuma brings Mina home to his parents. And he was all like, "Oh, don't treat Mina like a home appliance," because when he goes to say like, "Oh, hey, this is my wife, the robot," and they're like, "Oh, that's cool. Like, as long as you're having fun, that's not what matters." And they make it a point to be accepting because one time when Takuma confessed to a girl one time and he got rejected real bad, and I guess that's why he's like, "No, from now on, I don't like women,
Based.
whatever." And I was like, "Hey, man, okay, that's cool." But yeah, there's no real
Is there
major overarching major conflict in this series that we've seen so far.
I guess I
And
mean I think that's fine though. Obviously, you probably agree, but it's like that's fine to not have some sort of overarching conflict or a super climax resolution kind of model. But I'm just curious, how do you think episode 12 will end the season? It's just going to be another kind of, I guess, a little bit more fluffy episode than usual, and then they kind of end there. Do you think that's just going
yeah,
to be it?
yeah, I guess.
Okay.
I've seen some reviews and they're talking about like, oh, after you think like the conflict of having a robot wife is the major plot line, but shit gets real weird after this, and I'm like, we're 11 episodes in, I haven't seen any real weird
Yeah,
stuff yet.
exactly. It's like if you're gonna
It's
do
like
that, you are way too late. Yeah. Oh
so
my god.
I guess this is why I'm prompted to read the manga after this,
Hmm.
and I mean, I think that's one of the highest praises that I can give this series is that it's interesting. It's well,
Hmm.
it's pretty. I mean, so far overall, I like the series quite a bit.
It's like
Nothing.
it's mild. It's mild in a good way. Is what
Yeah.
I think I will describe it. Yeah.
I mean, there's no it's not pretentious enough to be like, oh, are robots really human and whatnot.
Yeah, and that's fine. Like it's fine not to do that. Yeah. Exactly.
And it's definitely no chobits, that's for sure. The relationship between a human and a robot, and
Yeah.
but it's more mild,
Yeah.
more fun rom-com dealing with that. And you know what? Sometimes that's okay. Sometimes I don't
Mhm.
want to be like, oh, uh, what const what constitutes like artificial intelligence and real human emotion? Man,
Right. Exactly.
this is definitely no. What is it? Detroit. What's it called again? Detroit,
Become
Delaware.
human.
Detroit
Become
become
human.
human.
Detroit become human, and
Yes. Yes. Yes.
the
Classic
various
movies.
racial allegories in there. And I was like, ooh. Sometimes I
Mhm.
don't need a black robot with the fist insignia like that. That's just too on the nose. And it's like sometimes we put robots in the back of the bus, and I'm like, okay, man, we're not David Cage up in here.
Oh
So
god.
like, I mean, what else? What else? Yeah, no real conflict. There was maybe conflict at one time where I think this is a major plot point in the series where after Mina, learns Takuma's, how to become more human and more expressive due to her
Hmm.
personality. Like after she learns with Takuma, she's like, "Hey, you said you liked my face, right?" And whatever, and like, I'm gonna get some upgrades, and she leaves for up. She contacts like her parent company so they can like
Hmm.
upgrade her, and she gets some upgrades halfway through the series. And there was this one point where they were like, "Oh, we have to know the difference between if you treat Mina as just an appliance or as a family member, because those are two different protocols
Hmm.
for upgrades." And it's like that they set it up to be like this major thing, but it's like, oh no, if you register as family, then we can't. You're not gonna shut down. We're not gonna reboot her systems and change her personality when we do the upgrades. I was like, oh,
Hmm.
that's neat. That they want Mina wanted her personality to stay the same, and she's learning and whatnot. That was cool.
Yeah.
What else?
Audiovisual stuff.
Mina's voiced by Konomi Inagaki, who is the
I haven't heard that name before. I feel like I might have actually. I don't. No, I don't.
she she
I
voice
definitely haven't.
she voices
Oh,
what?
it's U.S. Citizen from Do It Yourself. Actually. Okay. 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 Okay.
Yeah, that was cool. And what is it? Super Mina's voiced by Serizawa Yu. That's cool.
Oh, nice. Nice. Nice.
And then like the Mina with cool robot arms that like works with the company to upgrade people is Madoka Asahina.
Hmm.
Who's that? She's Kana from what is it? Eminence of Shadow.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Taka was voiced by Toshiyuki Toyonaga. I've heard that
Yeah.
voice before.
He's done a lot of different roles.
But yeah, what else? Any other major ones? I don't think so. No, I don't think any major ones. But yeah. What
Okay.
else? Visuals,
Art.
fine,
Yeah. Visuals.
cool.
Yeah. I mean,
Uh,
Tesco Productions. I don't think has been bad in terms of just doing the animations in any series that they've actually produced. So.
uh, I don't know. Visuals are fine. I don't have any real complaints.
Hmm.
Like, there's no major. The only gripe I have is when Senju, the sixth arm Mina pulls out her arm. It's obviously CG. But CG, CG. What else? The
Okay.
opening theme is Okairi Nasai by some chick I don't know. I can't read this.
Some random person who celebrated her 7 years
Yeah,
recently.
I guess someone named Tokino Sora. I wonder if
Uh-huh.
you've heard of her.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going to say it's the best opening of the season by far. Beats everyone else. There's no dispute. But even the ending theme is pretty cool. It's Wave by Misha Shimizu.
Mhm.
What else?
Okay.
What else? Happy Robot. Happy. What is it? What's the meme? What's the meme with the gorillas?
What?
What?
Ride wife, life good.
Yeah, hell yeah. Happy robot wife. Happy good life. They apparently
Okay.
have a they apparently have a child too. That was cool.
What?
But
Oh, okay.
I mean, the child is I brought this up earlier, but when Mina went to get her upgrades, she was like, because she's capable of independent thought and whatnot. She's learning. She was like,
Oh, okay,
someone
okay,
had.
okay.
She's like, she's slowly learning, but like I said earlier, they don't know whether whether it's a personality quirk from like individual programming or a modification.
Hmm.
So, but yeah,
Okay.
a modification from a previous owner. They bring that up. But yeah,
Mm.
they had a child. When Mina had to get her upgrades, she ordered a small helper robot, apparently like a Memorius or whatever that's called. Memorius model that takes care of elderly. Then
Mhm.
it got some weird person, like weird programming quirks from like Mina and whatever mysterious artificial intelligence. So now it's a fusion of learning from Takuma and Mina's personality. So now Takuma's like, oh, it's our child, Mina, haha, and she's like, damn, okay. Else? Yeah, so they got a robot child, I guess. That's cool. What else?
Mhm.
Overall, good series. I like it quite a bit.
Okay. What would you
Like
rate
like
it?
like I said, the highest praise is that after this is gone, I'm going to read the manga because I'm invested in what the
Yeah, it seems
weirdness
like a
after
good
this is.
series to like continue reading just like through the chapters. It's not something where
Yeah,
and it's
nothing.
not like some like a super heavy series where you need to hunker down or like I'll get ready for drama or whatever. It's just, it's what it is on the can or on the label. So,
But it's fire. It's gonna be. But what if it happens to be just like the end of Chobits? Remember the end of Chobits? Where did what's the dude's name in Chobits?
um,
Hideki's all like, hey, G, I love you. We gotta have sex. And she's like, no. Or then the other Chi was like, no, we can't, because my reset switch is right there. He's like, damn. I guess I will love
oh
you
my
forever.
god.
But I don't think Mina's capable of
Yeah,
that because
it'll
she's
probably
a.
be a happily ever after, but then it'll be one of those standard endings where like Mina is patting the like a really old Takuma as he's like on a wheelchair or like just lying on her lap or something like that. It'll probably be one of those endings in my opinion. But who knows?
We'll see
Uh
because
yeah.
remember she can get upgrades. You know what I'm saying? They're
What I'm saying is
expensive,
that
but
Takuma can't. That's the thing. Takuma can't get upgrades, so that's why he'll probably
so,
be
I
the
mean
old one in
she
the
could
after.
probably upgrade her from food service robot to modifications down there. But he's got some weird fetishes because Mina's, Mina's got a what is it? Like a microwave in her stomach, and he's like, "Oh, you can't show your belly. That's lewd." And I'm like, "Damn, dude, she can cook food in that thing. What's wrong with you?" But hey, man, to each their own.
I guess if he didn't have those fetishes, he wouldn't be as into Mina. So I guess that's one thing.
I blame the one chick that rejected him, so that he'll hate real women forever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean,
Anyways.
good. Happy, what is it? Happy wife, ride wife, robot wife. Good feeling all around.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm gonna rate it a solid 9.85 out of 9, 10 out of 10.
Okay.
So
Pretty
yeah,
good then.
it's probably going in my best anime of the season for this season. Because
Okay.
because what else? What else did I cover? Will it beat out
You
Dahlia?
co
I guess. Sorry, it's
you
beating out
cover
Wisteria, Wand, and
yeah,
Sword.
yeah, you cover Shinmyo-san with Storia, Dahlia and Bloom, and VTuber Legends. So I think for you, BokuTsuma will be near the top for sure. Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay.
I like surprise. I like being surprised in my thing, in my reviews.
It was above expectations for you, is
Yes,
what you're trying to say. Yeah, yeah.
'cause, there's a lot of
Perfect.
isekai, and it's like, oh, hey, I know, I've read this one. It's gonna be okay. Then VTuber
Yeah.
Legend was also like, hey, I watch VTubers, but this is better than I expected. But this one's out of left field, and I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I mean, I did watch it because Tokino Sora's watching, or Tokino Sora sang the opening. But I was like, you know what? This is much better than I expected. I like being pleasantly surprised. So yeah, definitely check this one out. Good series to end this season by with. What I'm saying.
Okay. Pretty good then. Thank you very much, Toast. Again, the series is My Wife Has No Emotion, also known as Boku no Tsuma wa Kanojo ga nai. Uh, sorry. Uh, why did I read as Kanojo? Excuse me. Kanjo ga nai.
What's with Kanjou Spire? I think you're thinking of
Yeah.
Otokonoko.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was too much in it. I'm trying to, yeah. But yeah, Boku no Tsuma Kanjou ga nai, also known as BokuTsuma. So this is a manga original that got an anime adaptation here by Tezuka Productions. So pretty good visuals, pretty good audio stuff all around, and pretty smooth kind of slice of life focused man meets robot wife kind of deal. No real big like whack drama stuff. It's just pretty smooth sailing. So if you like that sort of pacing, please do check this out. Next on the line here to finish up your season of reviews, Dark. You have something quite fun for us. Do you want to tell us
I
about it?
sure do.
Can you beat
All right.
Robot Wife's Dark?
So I've got
Yeah.
Tasogare Out of
Yummy too.
Focus,
Yeah.
which is Tasogare Out of Focus or Twilight Out of Focus.
Yes. It's a
This
manga original or what?
is I believe it is. Let me just double check. I don't know why my page.
Yeah, it is.
Did?
It is a
Yeah,
manga
so
original,
this is a manga
and
original. This is a BL manga, and this is being done
uh-huh.
by Studio Dean.
Oh my god!
Everybody loves Studio Dean.
Especially when they do BL series.
Oh yeah.
Everybody loves that shit. Yeah.
So anyway, this is I guess I could probably give the rundown of this pretty easily. So our
Uh-huh.
two main characters are Hisashi Otomo and Mao Tsuchiya. And these are two roommates, and they have 3 promises with each other. And now the way Mao put this is really stupid. So anyway, the 3 promises is basically that Mao won't like let anyone else know that Hisashi is gay.
Wait, what? Okay.
Yeah, so no no one like in their school or anything knows that Hisashi is gay. And
He's
so the
hiding it,
promise is
right?
like
Okay.
yeah, and so their promise is like he won't tell anyone.
Yeah.
Otomo in turn, I guess like and the weird thing is like I don't even know if it's really like fully established that like Mao is gay, but Otomo in turn must not fall in love with Mao. Like
Wait,
pretty
Ultima already has a
conceited.
boyfriend
Yeah,
at the point
listen,
where
we'll
they
get
make this
there.
promise.
We'll get there. Look, we'll get there. And the two, and like obviously just a mutual like privacy, like
Yeah.
because again they are roommates,
Yeah.
in their like high school dorm. Anyway, oh yeah, they are second years, and so as this goes on, just a little happening goes on that they are in the drama club, or well, Mao is, and Otomo is considered the perfect fit for a like a delinquent role in the BL love story that they're trying to film. And yeah, so Mao is the principal photographer, and obviously this winds up leading to some zesty moments between Otomo as the delinquent actor and the other actor acting as the class president in the film. Now, you may think, man, so this series is going to be Mao being all jealous, or thinking like, damn, I maybe I do have feelings for Otomo, and gets like jealous during the filming or something like that, or finds out that he does like during the filming. And you would be 100% incorrect, because that shit happens episode 1. Boom. All those 3 rules go right out the window real quick. Otomo literally swears to God that he will not fall for Otomo, and just, granted it's a year, it's about like a yearish time skip or something they do
Uh-huh.
between between like that promise or whatever, like instantly, just immediately is like, nah, never mind. I'm breaking up. Me and my boyfriend broke up. Like we're through. And yeah, so shit gets hot, hot real quick.
Hot, sweaty ass fucking.
Yeah, which is like
Alright.
again, like Mao being gay is like not really established as like a fact. I guess like we kind of just
Okay.
take that shit for granted. And then the story
Yeah,
primarily
because
becomes a
it's not sort of serious, so we're just like, yeah, might as well just get the ass fucking
yeah.
going on.
Yeah, so like that happens really quick. And like so then the story kind of just becomes more so of like him not really um liking that he's now filming like these romantic scenes between these two actors, one of which now includes his new boyfriend Otomo. But the brunt of, or the bulk of the series is actually just kind of like interpersonal interactions and like just pure like character interactions between Otomo and Mao, like, and just learning about each other's past and shit. Like that is the bulk of it. There is some of it obviously
Okay.
that gets intercut with the scenes from the movie. But most of it is literally just like relationship shit with them. And
Are
how
they
Otomo is like
talk are they
mysterious.
talking, or is it internal monologuing? What's going on? What's
So they talk. There's some internal monologue from like Mao, being like, Otomo is like kind of a doesn't really like share his feelings very much or his past or anything like that. Um, some of it is that. Some of it is obviously like the cutesy stuff that you would normally expect in a like romance series. And
is there
obviously
some
then you
like
have the
gradual
movie
progression
stuff.
going on, or is this like a
Yeah.
will they,
Well, I
won't
mean,
they?
there's
Okay.
there is no, they will. In fact, they literally have sex like
They
episode 2.
will fuck
They
each other,
straight up
yeah.
have sex in episode 2. Like,
Oh, okay.
yeah, just like 100%. Like it's not like there is no
Is this
subtlety to
smut?
it.
What's going on? Is
No,
this
no,
smut?
actually, it is like a more of like an artist's rendition when the scene happens. You might say,
What?
right?
Okay.
It's like a
Like
what would you
diagrams
call
or
that? No,
Explore?
like
but no
like
banana.
flowers blooming and
Oh,
Oh,
okay,
shit like that, and like
I know it. Yeah.
artsier shots,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
what
not
kind
really
what kind
like
of
The
flowers
petals
are
straight
they?
up
falling.
showing it. You
Yep.
know what I mean?
What kind of
Yeah.
flowers are they? Brown flowers or pink flowers? We have to know the color.
They're blue. Actually, they're light
Brown?
blue.
What do you mean
Oh,
brown
because
Yeah,
flowers?
wilted. But yeah,
Anyways,
so
is that not what the butthole is called? The brown flower?
it's a starfish, but
Oh, so there's no
um,
starfish?
but so that happens
So
very
wait,
early on.
it's
So
just
like I said, the
boring
premise they
flowers. It's
kind of
not
just like
funny.
throw that away immediately. No, it's almost like this is a romance series.
Lame.
But yeah, so like it's pretty solid, honestly. Like it's obviously very cheesy. Like very cheesy. Especially the like romance scenes and like hotter scenes. Like it is exactly what you would expect and like really turned up. But it makes it pretty funny. It makes it pretty fun. Um and yeah, I mean I think my biggest complaint about this series is that I don't really think the drama is like enough in a way. I think two things. One, the drama is like very, very shallow. Which leaves a lot to be desired because like it's not that engaging, right? Like the premise is not particularly exciting. And so by
the
episode like
issue is it's
5 or
that
4, like
that
by
like the
episode
initial
5 not having a much
problem.
deeper drama is like, you know, where's the substance here? Like if we're gonna do drama,
What the issue is, it's like the initial structure of the drama is
So the initial premise is the promises.
What
The
is the
structure of the
hurdle? I
drama.
don't really understand.
Well,
Yeah,
the hurdle is again like Mao being
it's just the promise,
conflicted.
right? It's not even like
No,
it's
it's
not even like
literally well, it's two
yeah.
things. It's the promise of like them now being in a relationship, and I guess like still being like conflicted of not, basically outing each other. But also,
Yeah.
the fact that like Mao has to film this like romance movie between the two, between Otomo and the other actor. And again, none of them can
Okay.
know that they are in a relationship. So like there's really no like
Okay.
boundary talk there or anything like that because it's like they literally like they can't without outing themselves.
So
Right?
it's just like the romance
Like
stuff
that's the drama.
that's the
Yeah.
hurdles. Yeah.
Yeah. And so well, I mean,
Yeah.
obviously like, there seems to be leading up to like, Otomo's past and stuff like that, but the problem I have, or Hisashi, like the problem that I have is again like that's not really like enough for me to like stay engaged, right? Like that's really not that dramatic. One and two, like you can't ride that for 5 episodes. Like that's really hard to do.
Yeah,
Like
I
and to
think
stay
also the
engaging.
problem is that the development has already advanced too far in a sense where let's say for like Yuri series, right? The Yuri series, there's a lot of um for good or for worse, right? For better or for worse, there's a lot of will they, won't they, and that extends the story, right? They have the two different personalities, or like they come from different backgrounds, and a lot of it is the standard, oh, we don't fit each other or something like that. One-sama, blah blah, that shit. But in this series, by episode 2, they already got it on. They're already just like, yeah,
Might have
we're
been
fucking each
episode 3.
other. Like,
Who's counting?
episode 3. Yeah, yeah, we're fucking
Yeah,
each
so
other
like
in
the
the
will they
ass kind
won't
of
they for
thing. It's already done.
the
So it's
first
like,
few episodes was
yeah,
good, was solid. But yeah, then like after it now it's like
like you either got
hard.
to tell an
It's like
actor story, right,
hard
or you got to do
to
something. Yeah,
well, it's also yeah, it's like to me it's like kind of difficult. It is a bit of a double-edged sword here because it's like, yeah, now that you've set it up this way, like it is kind of hard to show like a relationship progression in my opinion because like how are you
yeah.
realistically going to do that
Mhm.
with this dynamic you've set up? Now, if they do start getting into that, I think that would be very interesting. But they have not by the time by what I got up to, which was through episode 5. Um,
Mm.
so there's a lot left, but overall, I'm not really like sold that much on the premise. Like, I still prefer something of like, oh my god, why can't I think of it? The other BL series that came out not that long ago, was it um is it Hisane to no? What
No.
was that? Masone? No? What was it? It was literally both of their
Mm.
names. It was just someone and someone.
Sasaki Tomiano? No, that's
Old, I
was
think.
it
Yeah, Sasaki. Yeah,
was it
Sasaki
Sasaki
and
Tomiya?
Miyano.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I say recently
Okay.
because like they've had like
That was also
recent
Studio Dean as well, actually. Sasuke
additional
Tomiya.
recent ones. Yes, which was also Studio Dean, which was another thing I was going to get to. Um,
Okay.
yeah, so like I still prefer that series. I still think that has been done a little better overall and has like better pacing and like more drama. This is very much more of like I don't know, what would you say? Like cuz it's not quite smut, but it's more so of like the death by chocolate cake scenario where they're
Yeah.
just kind of just like hammering this to you of like we're just going to give you what you came here for.
Yeah, so
But like
that's I have a sort of
it kind of
a
runs
question
into,
on this, and
this
that's
is kind
yeah.
of a snooze fest after a little bit.
Yeah, I have a question on top of that, like, just because you brought it up, but I'm trying to say this in the nicest way possible, but what is the selling point of this series, right? Like if you're trying to sell it to some person, or like if you're trying to list the reasons why somebody will want to watch this series, what are those reasons is my question. It's like
I mean, if you like BL, like this is pretty much
yeah,
like
it's just the
just the more
where
like the
they're just macking each other, right?
not watered
Pretty much.
down. It's just like, yeah, I mean, like if you like that, you know what I mean? Like it is a lot of macking. It
Yeah,
is a lot of like those corny type scenes
yeah.
that
But
you
it's
would
not a
come to
lot of like
expect.
some deep like dives into why do I like or
Maybe it
what is
gets
our
to that.
relationship is
I can't say for
maybe
sure, but it certainly does
yeah
not
yeah
start that way.
yeah okay
These are
okay
very that was another thing that I was going to say about Sasaki Tomino is that the thing that I prefer to see is kind of the more archetypical characters, if that makes sense, which Sasaki
Mm.
Tomino did very much. Like they were like you knew these characters, like you knew their style and everything like that. Um, but the problem I have with this is that like Hisashi is supposed to be like this like aloof, like ooh, kind of mysterious um type character, but like he's not like really that much different from Mao from what we see, right? And even vocal performance and vocal inflection, they have very similar performances too. Like these a lot of these characters really are not playing an archetype, which to me gets a little boring. Because like not only do
Mhm.
you have drama that isn't really that in depth, again, as far as I've seen, um, you also have these characters that really aren't bouncing off of each other, like in a way that where you can like get moments in that are like not just pretty normal, pretty standard, to be honest. Like
Mm.
so that is kind of I would say that's kind of actually the biggest issue is that they are very samey, right? Like
Yeah
there's no like delinquent and like proper type thing going on here in the actual show. It's just, you know, Hisashi is like I guess gayer
I
in
mean
private.
the thing
Like
is I think in a sense like not having those extreme differences is okay because at the end of the
well, it
day
could
you're
be
trying
okay.
to
It could be okay.
make it
But like I
yeah, yeah.
said,
But the issue is like then you need to deal with it, right? It's like because they are at the end of the day, the story is about these individual people coming to grips with their experiences of like I don't know, wanting to with the other guy, right? And if they don't have those individually like unique thoughts, right, or like those unique kind of perspectives, then it kind of all goes to wash, right? Is sort of what
yeah,
you're
because
pointing out.
well, it's also like yeah, if you don't have that, like it's very hard. It's just very hard to stay engaged, right? Because if you don't have that,
Mhm.
like that's an easy engagement point. But
Right, 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 right.
on top of not having that, if you then don't have like any sort of like real life experience oriented like drama or anything like that, like if you keep just being like, oh, like Hisashi is like super aloof or like not aloof, but like, you know, I can't really tell what he's thinking or something like that. Like riding that over, I don't know, actually like like much earlier digging into his backstory or having some drama between them and the other students or anything like that. That's where
Mhm.
like again starts to become a little bit more boring for me because it's like, well, like what's happening here? Like I'm like, you know, each episode is starting to kind of like blend. You know what I mean? Like it's not really there's not really that much, you know, distinction between what is happening in, you know, episode 5 from like episode 4, right? You know, we're still on the major point of contention being filming these scenes and people not knowing that they're in a relationship and him having
Right.
to film like him having, you know, him acting out a relationship with another person, right? Like that's not exactly the most exciting prospects when you're getting like multiple episodes in where that's like the
And I also
biggest point of
don't
contention.
yeah, I also really don't know what because the obvious implication in terms of just I'm trying to talk about the meta structure, right? The obvious implication is that the movie ultimately is them like doing the movie and going through the paces is essentially a story is a tool within this or device within the story that leads into this sort of cathartic resolution where at the end of the movie or at the end of the filming of the movie or when they're looking at seeing the movie or releasing it to people or near the end of it, um the main character Mao, I guess in this case, will have a realization of some sort, and he'll be like, you know what? I can't lie to myself anymore, or some fucking other cheesy bullshit. And then he'll really get the Mac on with Otomo in public or wherever, right? And that's sort of the that'll be like a very standard story structure. But I don't really like at that point the the movie doesn't really become that important, right? And a lot of the important parts of the series of the anime of this manga series or this anime series kind of devolves into just again, what does Mal think about Otomo? How are they gonna keep rolling their relationship? And if you don't do something unique, it kind of just ends up becoming, again, as you said, a very standard, like whatever, like oh, it's just they did the thing. Okay, now what kind of business? So I just,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's unfortunate, um, because it was a fun premise, fun idea, but
Hmm.
I think it just need more substance to really like stay more
Right,
engaging.
right. Yeah, yeah. Can we talk a little bit about the audio visuals?
Yeah, so the audio visuals are
Because it
pretty
is
good. This is, this is a BL
Studio
series
D
from
is getting
Studio
used
Dean,
to.
so
Yeah.
they're pulling
Is
out all stops,
Studio
really.
is Studio D becoming the white fox of like just gay BL anime adaptations? Is this what's happening?
Yeah, I mean, I
Why
think that
Fire,
ship sailed the moment
remember,
they
crazy guy?
did.
Fire, what was Archer versus Lancer all about? Remember that?
Yeah, that's true. God
What is
damn
it?
it.
Gay bulg versus raw ass. Was that the meme? Hell yeah.
So this is their third, is what you're saying, third BL series. But
Yeah,
I don't know,
anyways,
man. Have you seen the shape of Archer's raw ass? Is that not an allegory for the blue flowers that appear in this series?
God damn it.
but
You may be right, but
yeah. So
yeah.
they're pretty solid. The OP is pretty standard. The ED is also kind of standard, but a little bit more interesting. Also, a better song for the ED.
Hmm.
I have to see. Yeah, it's like Unchain Cross Unchained by Ambers. Yeah, just kind of better
Hmm.
than the OP. But yeah, other than that, directing is like pretty all right, pretty good.
Hmm.
This is the
Pretty
Super
standard.
Lovers director. Um,
Oh,
Also
okay.
the Tokyo Ghoul redirector. So not only is Tokyo
Yes,
Ghoul
some
an
other
adult
experience.
anime, it's also a gay anime too. So
Yeah.
just by transitive properties.
Yeah, exactly. God damn it.
But yeah, so
Oh,
like
man.
that's not bad. But again, like that's the thing. Like I would say like the pacing of the episodes is not inherently bad. It's just there isn't enough to do to really make it more exciting.
Yeah, they're not. It's like the author nor any of the directors or anybody is. They're not
It would be
doing
like if you were
a deep dive,
literally
and they're
it's
not.
like kind of yeah,
Yeah.
it's like too I guess to summarize it, it's too natural in a way. Or cuz like obviously there's the corny scenes, right? The
Yeah,
corny
yeah, yeah.
BL scenes that you come to expect. But like outside of that, the actual like dynamics and like what's happening so far is a little too like
Yeah.
subdued where it's like this is like if you were just
You
watching like
can't
a
fit that into a
documentary about
12
like
episode
a high
series. Yeah,
school
exactly.
romance and you're like
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah.
fucking boring.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like, wait
yeah,
a
yeah.
minute, these are really
Because real
normal
life isn't always
things.
like super dramatic and everything. So it's like if you try to
Yeah,
reflect
it's like
that sort of
I
pacing
want you to
and
tell me
energy.
more, like tell me a story, like
Yeah,
I want you to
yeah,
be
yeah.
giving me like aspects that I might expect, but more of like a full course rather than we're actually going to show you like a more natural tidbit into like two people's lives. It's like,
You're right, right,
yeah,
exactly,
this is
exactly. Yeah.
not that exciting though.
Okay. I guess any last words on the series?
Um, yeah, I would say
Would you recommend
it's
this
not
to
bad.
like I don't know, like the,
I
the
mean,
thing is
if you
like
like
I know they're
BL,
all
definitely, like
mal yeah,
obviously,
yeah,
like
because
fucking
people are
100%.
like all there I know there's some mal reviews that are like if you're a gay man and you like anime, you gotta watch this series. I'm like,
No,
eh,
first of
are you
all,
getting the
if
are
you're
you getting the experience that you want
now,
from this series? Is my question. Yeah.
I can't speak from experience, okay? But if you're a person who was gay in high school, this is probably just like a borderline something you may have gone through, in the most boring way possible
Yeah, yeah,
imaginable.
yeah.
With like a lot of the actual trials and tribulations probably subdued more and more.
Mhm.
Yeah, so no, I don't think that that is that is an easy sell to anyone. I think I would purely only recommend this if you want to see a
If you just
BL series and
yeah.
you're bored, right?
Yeah.
Especially one that like kind of gets to the point very early on and then might have some like actual relationship development, partway through
Uh-huh.
and a little bit more deeper development. Because like I said, I'm only 5 episodes in, so it's like I don't really know if it gets a little grander than it is. Um,
Mhm.
but watching this one episode at a time, like on a weekly releases, definitely would have kind of spelled doom by now, by episode
Yeah,
5, just
yeah.
because of that. Just because it's like, damn, am I really gonna like stick around to see if this goes anywhere? But I would
Mhm.
recommend checking it out. Like, obviously, if like that's your thing, if you do just, I mean, hey, if you can just see good audio visuals with like horny BL scenes and like that's your thing,
Mhm.
like definitely. Um, but if that's not, this is probably going to be a rough one, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
If it doesn't pick up, at least at the very least, it's going to be a little bit of a slog to get through at points to like get to something of more substance. Where I don't
Mhm.
think Sasaki Tomino had like the same problem like whatsoever.
Yeah, and Sasaki Tomiyano is just because of the fact that it started out with a much less serious shell, and it was like, yeah, we're just gonna do freeform like excessive like kind of business, right? And so that
Right.
I think,
It was
yeah,
that's
they
where
didn't
again that's
go
the
down
bonus
like
of Sasaki
Saki, you
Tomino because
can't
they
be
weren't like
gay
very
with me,
much
okay?
like.
Yeah, it wasn't like that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like even if they do like something like that, like listen, we can't do this or something like that,
Yeah,
then
yeah,
like that would be fine because there is like a little bit of that obviously with the whole will they won't they for a decent
yeah.
amount,
Uh-huh.
but Sasaki Tomino has the benefit of again, yeah, like trying to be more of a slice of life, right? Like trying not
Right,
to.
right, right.
It's like it's still a BL series, but it is not like a BL series in the way this is, where this is very much more of a distilled BL experience.
Right. Yeah,
And yeah, and like I
yeah.
said, so
It's
that left a lot more dynamic stuff happening in Sasaki
mhm.
to me. Yeah. I don't
Yeah,
I
it's a
would
little bit
say I
unfortunate.
would say probably even if you like BL, this might wind up being a series that's like I don't know, maybe like a
Maybe a little
7-ish
bit.
for you, like maybe a
Yeah,
strong 7 or something. But for me
yeah, yeah.
personally, as someone who's not just here for that, I'm like, maybe a strong 5, maybe a 6, like maybe it picks up, but
Right,
You
right,
know,
right.
I think a lot of it's getting carried by like the enjoyment of obviously the cornier aspects and being paired up with very like solid audio visuals.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the
Yeah.
idea of maybe this will get a little bit more dramatic. Ooh, I wonder what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But
Fair.
can't carry
A little
everything.
bit unfortunate. Yeah. All right. Well, what would you rate it? What's your Mao number here?
Yeah. So my Mel number is probably like a strong 5, maybe or rather, yeah, like a strong 5 to a light 6, maybe like a light 6.
Okay.
And then I
Okay.
think if you're like really really on it for just like a BL series like that, maybe like a 7 or an 8, right? If like
Okay.
that's really what you're looking
Yeah.
for.
Yeah.
But like
Mm-hmm.
without that, may as well just watch like
Mm-hmm.
Tasogare now. Something like that.
Okay. Pretty good.
So
All right.
how good is the gay romance? Would a non
with like a with
homosexual
just
enjoy it?
with a cis person. I mean, again, it like depends on whether or not like that's what you want to see, right? Like there are
Mm-hmm.
definitely like plenty of straight people that still want to watch series like that.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
But yeah, again, like you have to really be along, I think,
So
for the BL
it's not
cheese.
over so it's not overly super homosexual, right?
No, it is.
Oh hell yeah, that's not
No, it is,
even
That's what
but
I'm
better.
saying.
but it's
It's very
yeah.
very gay. Like you,
But they just kind of get down and dirty real quick, and it's not like
So
oh, but am I really? It's not like that sort of
I
wishy
mean,
so
washy.
it's
they
not
do
like
obviously still have like that, like, oh my god, my heart's beating
why
so
what was that
fast. But like
what was that
but
one
like that
series that
stuff
you
is more
watched?
with, like I said,
Is it better or
the
worse than the what is it, the giantess's what is it, the giantess's
The
wife?
stop the
the
giant
comic fest of
giant's
smut
away.
stuff.
Yeah, no,
Like,
I think this
Yeah,
is
like
probably better than the Comic Fest of Smut
yeah,
series.
it's probably better than the
because
comic fest. The
that
comic fest
series
is like bottom of the
that
barrel
series
there.
was that series was in there right at the beginning. I was like, oh damn.
Yeah,
Yeah, comic fest of
this is
smut
not
series
quite
is
in the same
very bottom
way.
of the barrel.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
this is not a smut series.
yeah, yeah. All right. Anyways, thank you very much, Dark. This was Tasogare Out Focus, also known as Twilight Out of Focus. This was a manga original, BL series, obviously. This is the second BL series done recent times, in recent memory, by Studio Dean, or adapted by Studio Dean. The other one being Sasuke Mieno. Um, Obviously visual audio visualized, they've kept up the level of quality in similar ways, but in terms of how you might approach the story, some people might like it, some people might find it a little bit, maybe a little bit too on the nose. Your mileage might vary, but it probably won't hurt to check it out. So if you have the time, please do check out Twilight Out of Focus. Thank you very much, Dark. And next on the line, we have Near.
Near speaking of what is it? Yeah.
What?
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 Yeah,
All
how
right.
gay is
Speaking
your
of
While we're
series?
on
straight
the top
boys?
yeah, while we're on the topic of homosexual.
My series is not
Let's-
gay. My series is straight
Yeah.
and cool
Hell
and
yeah.
badass. Okay.
Hell yeah.
I don't believe you. I've
That
seen more than enough Twitter posts to not believe you.
Believe it or not, it's not gay actually.
I'm just saying it's the series is not
Okay, if
gay,
the series is
but
not gay, but is
the
it gay to
pictures.
watch the series?
Yeah, yeah. What I'm saying is the pictures,
You might have gotten me there.
yeah, the screenshots coming out from that series has turned more people gay than either Sasaki Tomiano or Tascade out of focus
That's
would
true.
have.
That is
So
true.
yeah.
I still think the reigning champion will still be fucking what's it called? Right off the bat with Genshin Impact with Venti. I still think that's gonna be the reigning
Yeah,
champ.
yeah.
I've seen many an artist on my Twitter
I think
feed.
you were a little biased there, but
Well,
Oh my god.
bro is speaking from personal experience.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
but anyway,
Oh my
I
god.
watched Nige Jouzu no Wakagimi.
Yes.
also known as the Elusive Samurai.
Yes.
This is the Cloverworks series of the season, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Unless, are they doing multiple?
I
No,
don't
right?
think so. Yeah.
Yeah, and it is a sort of period piece. You know, ancient Japan, shonen,
Mm-hmm.
sort of revenge story. The basic setup
Yes.
is the main character, Tokiyuki Hojo, um, is basically the first heir to, you know, the clan, um, the shogunate, as it were. And one day, spoilers, um, as it happens in history, the clan gets betrayed and they get fucking wiped out. Um, pretty brutally, in fact. Um, and Tokiyuki, being the sort of master at running away and hide and seek, you know, he escapes with his life, um, with the help of a pretty shady prince, or sorry, shady priest known as Yorishige Suwa. Um, and he says that with his divine vision, he sees Tokiyuki as being a hero in the future, sort of redeeming his honor and you know, taking revenge basically, on the guy that betrayed his clan, which is, what's his name, Takauji Ashikaga. Um, and the series sort of goes from there and becomes a sort of mini arc shonen series where he, you know, gets stronger, makes some friends, and takes revenge on the people that killed his clan. And some pretty interesting battles, pretty interesting fights. And the main thing for this series, realistically, the main appeal, I guess, the main draw are the visuals, right? Um, so it's probably worth tackling that first and foremost. Again, Cloverworks series. Let's see, who's the like animation director on this? There's like 8 billion episode directors, but I don't know who's key directing, key animating. Fasto? I don't know who that is. They've worked on Spy Family, Made in Abyss, Bleach, Onimai, Solo Leveling. Awesome. Here we go. Ayaka Hozumi, who's worked on what is this? What is this called? Oh, yeah, Spy Classroom. What is this? Oh, what a guy do OVA movie thing. Heaven's Feel. Um, yeah.
Hey, I
But
know
yeah,
that one.
yeah. There's a lot of fucking key animators on this. So yeah. The
Yeah,
main
they're
thing for
bringing in
this,
some, yes, some a couple of in-house people, but a lot of veterans from outside as well, I
yeah,
think.
for sure.
Yeah.
A lot of guest animators on this one. But yeah, this series is visually kind of like a bit of a masterpiece, I'd say.
Yeah, it's really pushing the like upper quality limits of like what we know is possible
Yeah.
in the industry currently.
Um,
Yeah.
so not only is it, I mean, first and foremost, it's just like remarkably well animated. Pretty much everything from character acting to just like basic movements from, you know, running, walking, jogging, everything in between, you know, jumping around, uh, you know, climbing trees, stuff like that, is incredibly well animated. There's a lot of really fluid movement to it.
It's what we thought we would have as a standard in 2024 is sort of how I feel about it.
Yeah,
It's like what we dreamed we would have, but then we kind of didn't really get. Yeah.
there's a scene in, I think it's Yeah, I think yeah, it's episode 2. Um,
Uh,
where there's a character that's sort of wrapping a cloth around a sort of spinning top.
yes.
And it's close up of his hands, right? And he's wrapping it around a cloth. And I think it might be rotoscoped or at the very least, it's obviously we're using a reference, but it's like so insanely smooth. And like the cloth is well animated, the hands are like perfectly animated. Um, and it's like such a small like little scene. It's just like so well animated. It's kind of crazy. Um,
Mm.
so you have stuff like that, and then uh, this is very much a sort of comedic series as well. So there's a lot of slapstick
Uh-huh.
stuff. There's a lot of Tsukomi, and they change animation styles quite often. Um, there's also moments where it's sort of instead of doing like say for example a long exposition dump from a character, it goes into sort of a history book type narration, right? Where it's like this person was like a historical figure known for X, Y, and Z, right? And
Mm.
sometimes it'll do like a sort of um, like ancient Japanese painting kind of representation. Sometimes it'll
Oh,
do
okay, okay, okay.
more of like a
Like, are we talking
uh,
ukiyo-e paintings or what?
yeah,
Is that
kind
what's
of. Sometimes it'll do a more like you know like a modern something you would see in like an actual textbook kind of thing. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
they'll do little, just like little 3D graphics almost. Um, there's like a little bit where the characters are like playing this dice game and they do like a 3D, like uh, almost like a video game, like a Mario, like overworld kind of thing,
Mm.
almost like a Mario Party thing, right? To represent the dice game, and then some of the characters like comment on it, like because they show like a train, right? And they're like, "What the hell is that?"
Oh.
Right? Um, but yeah, there's a lot of really cool sort of style shifts, and it's all very
It's a
well
very
animated.
like yeah, that's a very similar to, um it's a very almost Shaft-esque, the whole like, Shimbo, Onomashin, kind of
Yeah,
those
yeah.
sorts of like
It's not
vibes. Yeah, where they're
quite
just trying to add
as yeah, it's not quite as surreal. Like it's not pulling
yeah, yeah.
like random live action pictures of fucking,
Yeah.
key
Yeah, yeah,
animators that are working
exactly.
on the scene or something. But it does do it like animation shifts quite often.
Okay.
Like for example, there's one character that's like running through um forest that's like, scared for his life and stuff, and it takes on this really like rough, like almost like a rough draft like sketch kind of thing, but it's like in motion,
Uh-huh.
and it's really, really cool. Um, there will be stuff where like early on, I think it's in episode 2 where they fight the one of the dudes that um betrayed the main character's brother. Um, he's like a real like piece of shit, right? Like a like actual
Mhm.
just like horrible person. And when because he puts on this sort of like fake persona, like play nice to like try to get in the good graces, but then when he reveals his like true nature, his face like shifts into almost
Orcs, yeah.
um like the Japanese like oni masks.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
a,
yeah,
like a
yeah.
They
Hanya?
yeah, like they do that to his face, but it's got like almost like a purpley shadow over it. Um, it's all very, very impressive, and like it's none of it feels unnatural either.
It's kind of similar to like how in some comedy series they have like let's say like the nice One-san or like the teacher or whatever, but like the moment that's let's say the main character gets caught doing something perverted or whatever, they turn into that Oni face, whatever.
Yeah,
You're right. It's
yeah,
like they morph. It's kind of like that. Yeah.
yeah. Um, there's a couple bits in action sequences where like it goes into this almost like in the old like Street Fighter 4 cinematic trailers where they had like the black like painting kind of
Yeah.
streaks on them.
Mhm.
It does that in a couple scenes, and yeah, it's just a really really good looking series, and it's
Yeah.
very consistent as well, which is really nice. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, overall, definitely like easy front runner for like best looking anime of the year. Definitely for sure best looking anime of the season, just like bar none. Um, I'd be pretty shocked if something else comes out this year that looks better than this. Um, but yeah, as for the music, it's also pretty good. It's pretty much what you'd expect from a period piece anime. A lot of strings, a lot of woodwinds, very um, Japanese, right? Uh,
Right.
Oriental, as they say. Um, but yeah, it's pretty good. It's definitely very fitting, very immersive. Um, there's like for the overall audiovisuals, I think the only gripe I would have is there's a sequence in I think episode 4 or 5 where they're doing this sort of archery battle on horseback, right? And
Huh.
the thing with horses is you definitely do not want to draw those by hand, right? So
Yeah,
it's
yeah. Most of the time they're 3D
largely,
models, yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
largely CG. It doesn't look terrible, but it is a bit jarring considering how like good 2D animation looks in this
Yeah,
series
I'm also
for it to
guessing
go
that
from that to
the 3D horses aren't like moving. They're not, you know how realistic horses have like a little bit of that like bump kind of up and down
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
shaking kind of vibes. 3D, I'm guessing the 3D horses don't really have that as much.
No, they are not animated like Red
Yeah.
Dead Redemption, so you know.
Yeah.
But
Their
yeah,
balls do
um,
Yeah.
not shrink in the snow.
fortunately not. But that's kind of my only gripe. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, as for the rest of it, like I said, it's a pretty comedic series. But it's definitely not like this series is not afraid at all to get like really fucking dark. Um,
Huh.
it's definitely not afraid to show quite a bit of blood either. Um, so I'm almost kind of shocked that this is labeled as a shonen and not a seinen
Mm.
with how bloody it gets. But
You're yeah, surprised it wasn't kind of put in like a different magazine. Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
I'm not sure if the manga gets quite as gory as the anime does. Maybe they amped it up for the just for the anime, but I don't know. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's pretty up there. Um, a lot of heads getting chopped off, a lot of blood fountains shooting out of necks. Um, as samurai do. Um,
Right.
but yeah, the balance between the sort of more serious stuff and the comedy is pretty good. Um, again, it is mostly a revenge story, but it doesn't get like angsty about it.
Yeah, yeah.
It is more of like just like I'm taking revenge, right?
Yeah, it's not like, oh,
Because
like,
like
but
he has,
yeah.
the sort of honor of a family of like samurai, right? It's not like he's like,
Yeah.
this isn't some like Kagurabachi shit where he's like, I wake up every day with a fresh plate of hatred, Um,
Yeah.
he's kind of just like, yeah, this guy killed my family. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like my duty to kill him, right? Um,
Yeah.
so as for the comedy is actually quite good. It really helps that the priest dude that I mentioned earlier, who's pretty much like the main source of slapstick comedy, is voiced by
Mhm.
Nakamura Yuichi, um,
Yep.
and he does quite a good job. Um,
Also, a lot of the smaller kind of like shadow roles, including obviously the main character, are voiced by these female voice actresses as well, which
yeah,
is a little
yeah,
bit. I mean, I wasn't that surprised, but I was like, oh, okay, okay, this the tack they're taking on.
yeah.
Yeah.
The main character Tokiyuki is voiced by Asaki Yuikawa, um, who's a relative newcomer, right? Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. She's
what's
yeah,
her?
she's done a lot more, a decent number of supporting roles, but she's definitely a little bit more on the up and up. more than anything else. Yeah.
Yeah, this seems to be her biggest like main role. What
Yeah.
was this? Tonari no Yokai-san was her last like other main role.
Yeah, yeah. But that was a little bit,
Yeah, that was a
smaller, I
bit
think,
more
role.
niche.
Yeah.
But yeah, some of the others are Yuki Aoi voicing Genba, who's like this
Hmm.
sort of kabuki ninja thief who's like constantly playing pranks on people. Hineki Yano is Shizuku, who's like a shrine maiden who's assisting the priest dude.
Mm.
And then you have Marihino, who's one of the other young lad retainers to Tokiyuki. And then Sayumi Suzushiro is like the third retainer who sort
Yeah.
of makes up the main cast. And they're all quite good. They bounce off each other quite well.
Yeah, they're relatively experienced people overall. I think there are a couple of others here. I think I would say I haven't heard of Yano Hinaki as much before, or
Yeah.
Hinomari, but I think most of the others, again, as you mentioned, Suzuhiro Sayumi, Yuki Aoi, some of the others again, obviously Nakamura, Konishi Kasuga. A lot of the others are pretty much established veterans there, so they're kind of holding the boat afloat.
Yeah, I will say, I actually didn't notice Yuki Aoi was voicing Genba. She seems to be hiding her,
She hired her, yeah.
hiding her normal sort of tone quite well.
Hmm,
Um,
hmm.
yeah, definitely doing a good
It's
job
similar
there.
to again, kind of. It's like a kind of Hanazawa kind of business where, um, when they're doing like a supporting kind of something, maybe like a deeper role or whatever, it's very like they hide it quite well,
Yeah,
especially I think
yeah,
as they're aging. Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Um, but yeah, I don't really want to give too much away for the story because again, I do
Hmm,
think this is
hmm.
a pretty good series. It's definitely worth watching. Um, especially if if you're like me, I like, ancient Japanese period pieces quite a bit. Um, and this one is quite good. It's got really good visuals. It's got really good action. It's got good comedy. Um, it's got a pretty good story, in my opinion. I mean, there's nothing about it to me that's like bad. Um, it very much serves its purpose. It's sort of uh, pushing the plot along. Nothing about it feels slow or too fast. It feels well paced. Um, yeah, it's overall solid, I'd say. OPED, I think the OP is fun visually. I think the song is a little bit generic, but I still like it. It's Plan A by Dish. The ED is
Oh,
um a bit more, I guess. I mean, it's going for almost like this sort of. The ED for me is weird because it's like it's going for this sort of like carnival phantasm kind of comedic tone,
okay,
right?
okay, okay.
Where they're sort of like they're riding this bus around and the characters are in sort of uh
But it also
more
like, is it that sort of series? Is my question. Like, it has
um
comedy, but yeah.
a little bit sometimes but like the main issue I have is it
Uh-huh.
shows the characters that are like straight up like evil, like actual just like evil horrible people,
Oh, okay, okay.
and they're like dancing around and playing it up with the gang, and it's like you don't belong here, dude.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know
bro
what.
thinks he's on the
Okay.
team.
Yeah, there's also a couple
Yeah,
characters that are like they're like
that's
dead
weird.
in episode 1
Yeah,
and they're in the
yeah, I was about to
ED.
say, I thought when you were initially about to mention, like, the evil people, I thought you were gonna say, yeah, there are people in the ED that are just
Yeah, there are
dead.
people in the ED that are like, yeah, this character was like raped and killed in episode 1. And I'm like, why
Oh
is
my
this character
god.
here? Like why is this character in the ED for this entire series? I think that's
Yeah.
probably not great. Um
Yeah.
but yeah, it's
A
not like
little
a
bit
bad
weird
ED,
storyboarding.
but it's just like some of it rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But yeah. Um,
But Nier, you haven't answered the most important question.
what?
How strong is he?
He's pretty weak actually. Um,
But how
they
fast is
definitely
he?
he's pretty fast. So the main thing that they sort of go through in his like training arc, right, is they kind of like because when he was sort of a prince, right, he was constantly shirking his sort of training, like his martial training, because he thought it was lame, thought it was dumb, right? Um, and so he's pretty weak, but he's really good at running away. He's really good at dodging attacks because he's really fast, right? And he's pretty good at archery, right? And so the sort of training arc they go through is like, well, um, surely your superior speed will get you victory every time. Um, and that's pretty much what they do. He's pretty much
Okay.
like pretty much every battle he's won so far is like I'm just like so fast that nobody can hit me. Um,
So has he met? Is this the Shukchi, or what? What is his
Sounds
speed
like
technique
a
called?
ranking of kings copy, I think.
yeah, true, true.
What's his speed
Um,
technique called, Nier? It's not the Shukchi.
no. I mean his like the again. I think I posted a clip of it in one of the most recent episodes, but like his speed is the way they represent it in one of the more recent episodes. It's he's almost like he's got like shadow clones is how fast he is, right? Um,
Oh, okay.
but yeah, it's very much like a sort of death by a thousand cuts kind of thing is like his sort of
Mm.
strength, right? Um,
Mm.
and also, he relies on his friends, Smile. Um,
So he's faster than Seta Sojiro.
probably, yeah, he's pretty fast.
So he's fastest. I mean, so he's faster than Kenshin, huh?
Um, maybe.
But can he
He's
beat?
probably not. He's probably not stronger than Kitchen.
But
He's
can
pretty
he beat
weak.
Kenshin? Because remember, Kenshin has the Amakaku Ryu no Hirameki.
That's
It's a
true.
counter
I mean,
attack.
he probably cannot be Kenshin because, like, in terms of like actual sword fighting, he's pretty weak. So, you know,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
he is fast.
yeah.
So,
But yeah,
All right.
but
Pretty good.
near well,
yeah.
so you're saying he can't beat a servant, huh?
No, definitely
Well,
not.
servants have like legit
Man.
supernatural powers at that point. So, yeah.
So
Uh,
so okay. So let's bring him up to servant level. Servant level. Can he beat Okita
level.
Soji?
Um, I'd say if you brought him up to servant level, he'd probably be comparable to Ushiwakamaru.
Oh,
It's probably the most. That's probably the most like direct
so he
comparison,
can
I'd
defeat
say.
the Tsubame Gaishi.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Anyways, I do want to move on. I guess any last words, and plus I got I actually want to mention this before we talked about this before the podcast, but I do want to bring it up again. I know there are some people that are just like, oh, all like the Sakuga stuff that you see on social media. If you just take that away, the fucking story is shit and the series is shit. It's like, do you have a response to that?
Well, typically, if you remove the visual aspect from any piece of visual media, it does typically
Especially
get
if it's like a good,
worse.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
believe it or not. I will say it is obvious that the visuals of this series are a definite strong point, right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
I don't think the story is like phenomenal. Like I said, it
Yeah.
does its job, pushes
But
plot
it's not like
forward.
horrible like Guilty Crown was. Right?
Yeah.
It's not like,
Um,
yeah.
and honestly, I'm gonna spit out a hot take here. I think this is paced so much like if you're a fan of shonen with
Uh-huh.
katanas and samurais, people fighting with samurai swords, this is paced a million times better than Demon Slayer. Just straight up.
Wow, a
Yeah,
hot
I
So
mean,
take. A
Demon
hot take.
Slayer
You
is
mean
Yeah.
Demon
basic as
Slayer? They
not,
Demon
yeah.
dedicated an
Slayer
entire
Demon
season for
Slayer was
nothing.
dog shit. Demon Slayer season 1 was ass. I'm not gonna lie.
so near.
Oh my god.
Would you say this is Yusei Matsui's best work?
Um, is that the author? The
That's the
original
author,
author?
yes.
What else have they made?
They made Tante Detective Nero and Assassination Classroom.
Oh yeah, I forgot he did make Assassination
Oh, he
Classroom.
made
Yes,
Ass
yes.
Class. Okay.
Ass class.
I mean, Ass Class was like pretty cool, but I feel like as it went on, it was kind of just like, all right, can we wrap this up?
It
You
just
know what I mean?
it became even more
Yeah,
shonen,
yeah.
I would say, yeah.
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 It's hard to say because I haven't read the manga for this. And
Mhm.
like I said, the visual component for this is definitely a strong point. So it's possible if I read the manga, I would end up saying Ass Class is better. But in terms, if I was just to compare the anime, I would say this is way better.
Mhm.
But
You want my
Okay.
hot take there? You want my hot take?
for it,
He still hasn't beaten Tante Detective Nero, his first work.
uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
All right,
Okay,
all right.
so I guess
I
any
mean,
last words then?
has anyone else read that or just me?
No, I
I
don't think.
never read it myself.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, final rating. I'd probably give this. I give it a strong 8 for sure. It's definitely good at
Okay.
what it does. I really like the comedy. Um,
Mhm.
again, I think Nakamura Yuichi kind of carries the comedy a little bit. Um, but all the characters are pretty good on their own too. Um, the
Right.
the action sequences are phenomenal. Um, the visuals are obviously like absolutely fucking stellar. And yeah, overall it's a solid package. It's good just shonen series, you know. If you like shonen, there's like literally no reason at all not to watch this.
Yeah. And also it's just, look, everybody's always wanting that sort of really well animated action sequence that's not just from, say, uh, Table or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So, here it is. Like this is this is the dish you want. Like
Yeah, I mean
what?
this is definitely Cloverworks sort of pulling in all the stops to be like, hey,
Mhm.
Magnum
let's just hire every good animator that we can get and then
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
push out some absolutely insane
Is it their
sequences.
magnum opus near?
Cloverworks for Cloverworks? I
Visually
don't. Yeah,
that's
for
tricky, right?
visually, yeah.
Because, Cloverworks pushed out fucking Bocce the Rock, right?
Damn, it's better than
Yeah.
It's better than Bochi the Rock?
It depends
I
what you're
think
looking for,
visually it
I
could
think.
definitely vie
Because
for it for sure.
I
Yeah.
think creatively, I'd say
Mhm.
Bocce the Rock is probably a bit above. Although, in terms of raw, like Sakuga, I'd say
Mhm.
this and Fate Grand Order Babylonia are
Ooh, okay.
like neck
I'll
and
take
neck.
it.
Mhm.
Because
Okay.
Babylonia was like Babylonia's highs were like some of the best animation the industry's ever seen, right? But I think
Mhm.
this is like rivaling that and is also a bit more consistent,
I
right?
mean, so the
Yeah.
Sakugs is
It's
better
like
than
across
Spy
12
Family?
episodes. Yeah.
I would say definitely, yeah.
Is it better
Yeah,
than
for sure.
the Bisque doll? This is
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah, because Bistal is not, I mean, it's
Hey
not an
man,
impressive
the best
visual
the best Sakuga was when she was on top of him and he's like, "Oh." Remember that
Yes,
scene?
true
Hell yeah.
Sakuga is when you
True
see boobs
Sakuga
on
is
top of your
boobies.
face.
That's so fucking true, man.
Yeah. There's a lot of people on the
Hey
internet that
man,
would agree with that
Yeah,
hey
statement.
yeah, and they all love fucking Makini, right?
Oh my god, fucking shake my head.
hey man,
Anyways,
never count out Grenadier. Grenadier is awesome.
Uh-huh.
yeah.
If you don't know what
Anyways, any
Grenadier
last
is, it's
words?
the famous it's the famous revolver scene.
Yeah.
Um,
eh,
I mean, last words are you should watch it. It's good.
Okay. Pretty good. Definitely better than, just as
Darling
just
in the
as good
Franks,
as
wasn't that also Cloverworks?
yeah, Darling in the
That
Franxx.
was Trigger, Sweaty. That was all Trigger.
Was
Excuse
that
me,
Trigger and
a
Cloverworks, or was
trigger.
that Trigger and A1?
It was Trigger and A1, and I think that that year is when Cloverworks broke off from A1.
Yeah,
I,
right.
was
So-
it? Was it? Was it? Oh, okay. I thought Cloverworks
'Cause
broke
I
off
think
to create Darling
Cloverworks-
in the Franxx.
No.
Wasn't that their first work? No.
Their first.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure their first Cloverworks' first
Work.
solo
Oh,
work,
okay.
if
It
I
was
remember
slow
correctly,
start.
was
Yeah, it was
the
slow start.
It was, well, technically it was the Persona 5 anime.
Oh no,
Because I
no, it
think
was.
they were
They made
called.
They started Darling in the Franxx before Personal. But no. I think what might be happened is they probably announced and started work on Persona 5 the animation, but it was released later than Darling in the Franxx. That could have been a thing, in my
Maybe,
opinion.
yeah.
Because Darling in the Franxx came out before, according to this timeline that I'm looking on Wiki. But it could very well be the case that it's likely that it was the case that Persona 5 stuff happened way before because
I
they
do think
planned
they
out
were.
Persona
I do
5.
think they were, because they were an umbrella studio under A1, but still called
Yes.
Cloverworks before they broke off, right? I think.
Yeah, I believe so. Yes.
I think Persona 5 was the first thing they did after breaking off, right? I think. But that was quite a while ago, so.
Yeah. Yeah. After their initial kind of slow start Darling in the Franxx Persona 5, and Persona 5, and they and a little bit of Ace Attorney, they split off into a separate studio entirely.
Yeah.
And after that, they started doing stuff like Bunny Girl Senpai, stuff like that. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Nier, for helping cover this. I think this was probably one of the most important series we had to cover this season, and I'm glad that it panned out all right, and it wasn't as all the memers on the internet suggested, just complete shit without the visuals, bro, or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that it turned out fine. And this was again Nige Jouzu no Wakagimi, also known as the Elusive Samurai. I believe this is a manga original, and this is adapted by none other than the infamous Cloverworks. So if you want to see, the upper limits, of animation, what's really pushing, the industry forward right now, check this one out. It's got some pretty impressive visuals. Thank you very much, Nir. And I'll round up the reviews here. My series is something that I was looking forward to, just at the start of the previous season when I set my eyes on it. It is the Shoushimin series. So this is based off a series of novels written by Yonezo Honobu. And if you guys don't know who that is, or, this might sound familiar actually to some people because he is the very same author behind Hyoka, which was the first of the classic literature club novel series, mystery novel series, the Kutenbu series. And so that started off with Hyoka in 2001, I believe. He started writing the novels, and these are actual novels, right? So, what I mean by that is there's a general genre of literature that we know today as light novels, right? And they're kind of thinner pulp fiction style books that are kind of written to almost complement to be like a secondary genre to or secondary form of media next to manga, right? Or anime, so on, or visual novels, so on and so forth, right? So we have these light novels, web novels, and kind of phone novels and pulp fiction kind of stuff. That's much thinner, much a little bit more shallow, I would say, and that is not what um, Yonezawa Honobu is all about. He is writing big, chunking, proper novels, like novels that you read in terms of science fiction or mystery or whatever, like full. He is an actual proper novelist. He has won legit mystery novel awards and stuff like that. He is like a full novel writer. So he started writing this 2001. I mean, he wrote stuff beforehand, but he published his first sort of major breakout series in the Kutenbu series in 2001. That is continuing up until this day, and he started the Shoushimin series 3 years after that in 2004. and he's been kind of going back and forth writing volumes for both these series, and he's I guess doing it concurrently, and he's been publishing novel volumes. So again, these are like full proper novels. They're like it's I guess another similar reminiscent one that often gets like a light novel-ish treatment is Horizon in the Middle of Nowhere, right? Horizon in the Middle of Nowhere is not just some light novel and they're just going around whacking people and it's just, talking about the timelines and all that crap, right? They are, if you look at the physical copy, they are big. They are thick boys. So so these are actual proper mystery, right? Full-time mystery novels in the case of Hyokan Shoushimin and the Kotenbu series. So that's what the adaptation is from. The adaptation itself for the anime has been headed by Lapin Track, who usually does a lot of in between and second key animation stuff, but they have done at least a couple of other. They have headed the production of a couple of other anime. They started with Android, which I thought was personally pretty iffy. They've had ups and downs. So Android was pretty iffy. Sarazanmai was, I believe, an anime original that was Noitamina blog. I forget if I covered it or if it was Dark or somebody else, but it was a pretty good Noitamina blog series, if I remember correctly. They did some shorts, and then they did in recent memory Undead Girl Murder Farce, which Nier gave a pretty positive review for about. And then this is their latest anime adaptation. So in terms of the general staff for this, Track, so animation producer, in-house animation producer Watabe Masakazu, who has been producer and anime producer organizer for Track pretty much since the beginning from their Android days. He worked together with sort of the Promised Neverland duo from Cloverworks, which is I believe Mamoru Kanbei as the director, as well as Toshi Ono Toshiya as the series composition slash scriptwriter. This is sort of like the sort of Promised Neverland duo, although they have worked with Subete ga F ni Naru or The Perfect Insider before. But yeah, he brought together the Promised Neverland crew, as well as some other people from that sort of team, the Promised Neverland team. They combined that with a couple of more veterans, as well as some up and comers, such as Obata Takahiro from Inside Lapland Track, as well as some other people from other like subcontractors, some production IG like Niigata studio teams, stuff like that. But it is like kind of like crew composed mostly, again, I would say, of the Promised Neverland team and some other sort of former Lap and Track connections. So that's sort of how it works out. It kind of panned out, but it is a pretty solid team overall, I would say. Mostly, again, veterans. They know each other pretty well. They work with each other pretty well. And Promised Neverland was overall pretty satisfying in terms of the audiovisual and kind of how it formed out. So um, I would say pretty dependable team overall. In terms of the voice acting cast, a decent amount of kind of up and comers here. We have Yomi Hina as the main one of the main characters, the small girl, Osana Yuki. Yomi Hina has done roles in, I think probably her most famous role would be Shinju Inui in Bistal. Oh, I think the smaller kind of like lolly kind of ish character. And in
Sorry,
more
you
recent
can't say
times, she
that
did.
word anymore. What's the new term?
I don't even know what
What?
the other term is.
Wasn't there a new term?
Is
I don't
there?
know.
There's a new tag that you have to use from now on. When you go
It's
on like
probably summer. Yeah.
whatever.
But yeah, anyways, uh the other main recent role that she did was Yamada Anna in The Dangers of My Heart. I keep mixing up Yomi Hina actually with Sugete Hina. Sugete Hina is the one that did what is it? The Bang Dream and the Marine in Bistal, as well as one of the Gata characters in Bang Dream. But I keep mixing the two together up. But Yomi Hina is hasn't got as much kind of breakout roles, but she I guess this is one of her potential breakout role here, but she is definitely an up and comer. The main male character, um, Kobato Jogoro, is played by Umeda Shuichiro. He's been popping off recently. I believe he'll be pretty much, scooping up shit tons of roles probably by late 2024 or early going into 2025. I think 2025 will probably be his year. I mean, this year is already popping up for him a lot too. So he did the main character in Senpai wa Pineapple, Otokonoko, which I also reviewed this season. And he's had a couple of other main roles as well. He did Akira in Zom 100. He did, I believe, one of the main characters in Mahotsukai Remaking, a couple of other roles. He usually does like younger boy roles, kind of more sprightly, kind of thinner, kind of wispier, higher voice register. But he is he's quite good overall. He's poised to be one of the next kind of prolific voice actors, for especially voicing like main characters and stuff like that. So he's definitely exploding onto the scene right now. And I would say probably the third kind of like psychic character, Furukawa Makoto, who is known for doing Saitama in One Punch Man. He's doing the sidekick here, Dojima Kengo, and they're kind of backed up by a mix of kind of people who haven't made their breakouts yet, alongside some pretty well-known people here. Seto Asami, Anzai Chika, Kawasamaki, stuff like that. A couple of people that you guys have seen the names before here. So pretty solid cast, I would say. I think in this case, Yomiya Hina and yeah, Yomiya Hina didn't really have the hardest of jobs because her job in this series was literally just to keep her voice as uniform as possible and not really like do any sort of variance in her tones or whatever. It's just her being a kudere. Not even kudere, but like essentially just like the same kind of tone of voice for the entire series. So probably not the hardest job, or probably not the one that you trot out on your resume to kind of show off, but it is still breakout role, I would say, because it is a main role. So hopefully she gets some more, I would say, diverse roles in the future, and we'll see how that goes. But yeah, quick coverage on the OPED and audio visuals. For opening, the opening for Shoushimin was "Sweet Memory" by Eve. So Eve is a pretty well-known Vocaloid producer in Japan. I would say the song itself ended up being a pretty standard male kind of vocal J-pop, kind of city pop vibes. Um, the visuals were above average. Again, this was pretty solid all around by Lapin Track. I wouldn't say the storyboard itself was anything to write home about, but again, the visual quality was quite good. Ending theme was E Ito, E Tokenai by Ammo, which is a Japanese rock band based in Osaka. They they had a pretty good kind of solid Japanese soft rock kind of vibes done by this band. I would say musically it's definitely a cut above what anime series often kind of hire bands for EDs. So I would say probably check it out. It's a pretty good song. Um, the visuals itself was mainly just like 2D images of the characters kind of layered onto real life shots and videos of urban landscape, and they're kind of just like walking through those real life shots. Again, not the most impressive thing, but it wasn't bad by any means. So that was the opening ending. Not the most impressive, but solid. So in terms of the actual episodes themselves, first off, the visuals. The visuals, I would say, are definitely much higher quality and cleaner than that of, say, Sarasame from X years ago. They definitely kept up the level of quality that they had with something like Undead Girl Murder Farce, but they utilized a definitely different style properly to fit the Shoushimin series instead of making character designs similar between the two sort of series. The character designs themselves do try to somewhat emulate the designs that Nishia Futoshi, who is a former Kyoani employee that unfortunately passed away in the arson incident, and he was the designer for the Hyoka series, for the Hyoka anime adaptation for Kyoani. But yeah, they tried to emulate that sort of design that Nishia did, and they come pretty close to it. The sort of the hair and the lighting and the color palettes and the paler color palettes and stuff like that that are used for the skins are pretty reminiscent of those. The eyes and the lighting and stuff like that are also somewhat similar, but they're also kind of reminiscent. The way that the eyes are colored um uh are somewhat reminiscent of, I would say, Bang Dream character designs in a way, and it doesn't jar me, but it's like, oh, these eyes are somewhat different from what, say, Kyoani did. Uh, in terms of the animations themselves, the animations are definitely a little bit more slowed down, and there's not as many in between frames for both in like the regular kind of setup scenes and like discussions and when they're like walking around in the episode. For both, it kind of creates a slower pacing and slower kind of vibe. Um, Obviously, there are budgetary reasons as well. Um, but it does kind of work in this sort of genre where there's a lot of just walking around, slice of life mystery, and they're just kind of talking. And it's not them flying around and battling with swords or anything like that. Since they're just kind of talking a lot and just looking at items and thinking and doing internal monologues, that sort of slower pacing, that sort of not having as many in between frames unless it's for specific like visual scenes that we need. It kind of does work out in this series. They do save most of these sorts of like frames when the budget kind of needs to go ham on for specific scenes near the ends of episodes or specific scenes where the girl is, say, like flying around or whatever, or just like running around or whatever. But the general quality of the static frames and the character designs and the models stay pretty consistent and pretty high throughout the episodes, which is good. As well as the models for other stuff like food or whatnot. So I would definitely give that a thumbs up. What I would also point out is they have a pretty good, generally pretty great usage of 3D and blending where it needs to be. So a lot what'll happen is for a lot of swift and straightforward motions for human animations, like if they're pointing a finger or if they're like circling a finger around the mug or just kind of like scooping with their arms or something like that, like not something that's super complicated but just like very straightforward, they'll use these 3D models in these moments, and they won't like they'll try to use them in scenes where they're just kind of animating just part of the hand and they're not trying to animate the entire human body or anything like that. So it kind of works out pretty well. And otherwise, they'll use it for stuff like standard sets of fluids and objects, and they'll kind of combine it again with these like 2D frames of drawings. Like, so if you have something like uh they're pouring a liquid into a mug, right? The mug itself, the surface of the mug, and it's like bubbling and like the liquid and everything, that'll be 2D. But the cup that's pouring into the other mug, as well as the falling liquid, will be in 3D. So they did a lot of these like good like visual tricks that are very well blended together and well kind of combined. So that's definitely really good. Um, there are a few points in across some episodes where they use 3D for some mouth movements and some other like kind of smear effects and stuff like that, where it looks a little bit sketch, but generally it's quite well used and quite well combined together. So definitely props for that. In terms of the audio, I would say it's quite interesting because it's mostly silence. So it's pretty much minimal or no BGM. the BGMs tend to be kind of mainly just a few instruments or sections faintly in the background, unless it's like a super intense moment where they're just trying to be like, oh, this is intense, this is dramatic, and then they'll kind of blare the BGM a little bit. But for 80-90% of the series, it's just silence. Even when they're like staying silent and staring at each other, or they're just kind of like, what's going on? The entire just it'll just be radio silence. There will be no BGM. It'll just almost it almost gives a live action drama kind of vibe because of the minimal amount of BGM that's used when they're just like, oh, they're trying to emulate real life sounds, so they're not using any BGM. So it's interesting. It's definitely a direct contrast to something like a Hyoko or some of the other Kyoani stuff, for instance, that's been done, where they try to at least add soft BGM here and there where they can. This is like mostly silent. And it's very interesting. And again, it makes it seem a little bit more like a live action drama. And when the serious stuff happens, it gives it a little bit more weight. Um, because the kind of silence kind of sets in on the audience, and it's not just like dun 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 dun, like there's not just like some like random intense BGM going on in the background. So I think that's a pretty good touch, especially again in a quieter, much more quiet series like this, like Shoushimin. So that's pretty much it for the audio visuals. As for the story, the TLDR is you have these two characters, right? You have Jogoro, excuse me. Yeah, Jogoro, the male main character, as well as the uh, female character, Osana Yuki, and they promised each other that they would just pretend to be ordinary people when they're getting into, I believe, high school now. Yeah, they entered high school and they promised to be ordinary people. And what this mean what this actually means is that before before entering high school, they because they have all these like very smart instincts and they're very good. They have very high alertness and observational skills. They're essentially
Is this a Hachiman situation where like, oh, I'm smarter than everyone else?
yeah, it's similar to that, but it's like they're not constantly just spouting edgy shit. Unlike Hachiman, but they because they have such great observational skills and they're like Sherlock Holmes essentially. They're both very smart and like Sherlock Holmes. They It's implied that before they ran into these situations where when they blurted out the answers to these like mysteries or whatever solutions because they knew they predicted what was going on, or they deduced what was going on, they got hit with some negative reactions, right? Some people didn't want to hear that sort of answer ahead of time, or they didn't think it was the answer, or blah blah. Blah. So because they got all these negative reactions, both Osanayuki as well as Jogoro both decided to kind of um, pretend to be ordinary people to kind of, I guess, quote unquote, seal in their powers and not try to be a smart aleck and try to help try to solve mysteries all the time. And this is kind of a similar premise in a sense um, to Hyoka, right? Because the main character, Hotaro, right, doesn't really like to go out there and want and like solve mysteries for everybody. But he kind of gets into these situations as he meets up with people as he spends his life in high school, right, in his high school years. So Shoushimin is pretty similar, where the two characters don't really quote unquote want to get involved, but every day when while they're living in high school, while they're as they're interacting with each other and with their sidekick, uh, Kengo and stuff like that, they come across mysteries where they're inevitably called upon to solve the mystery and kind of help out. Um, so that's sort of general gist of it, and a lot of the mystery ends up being, and a lot of pretty much all of the episodes have ended up being individual mystery episodes. Um, yeah, pretty much all of them have been individual mystery episodes of varying sizes and colors. So again, this is, I would say, on from the outside, it kind of seems like, oh, it's just another Hyoka. It just seems very it's just more mystery, it's the same stuff. And in terms of the general structure, you would be right. But I would say in terms of details, Shoushimin is definitely a much more quiet and much more pure distilled mystery than Hyoka is. So what I mean by that is Hyoka is a lot more, it has a lot more scenes and a lot more screen time where Hotaro and his friends all kind of do these interactions with each other, right? Chitanda is interested in Hotaro. Mayaka and was Hotaro's sidekick, right? The male, the other dude, uh,
Yeah.
are trying to, yeah, are trying to kind of resolve their relationships, right? And they have all these like character developments that get screen time and get proper resolution within Hyoka. Um, Shoshimin is not like that. So there's much less of that sort of interpersonal character developments and drama. Uh, and the mystery episodes, the deductions, and the discussions take up way more of the episode. They can even take up the whole episode. So you'll literally, so in Hyoka, for instance, right, you'll have this thing where you have a little bit of the character development, maybe you'll have Chitanda running around, and then you'll have the introduction of the mystery, right, the setup of how Hotaro even gets across, um, gets to meet this mystery, right? Who somebody comes up to him from the student council or whatever, and they're like, what's going on here? Can you help us with this? Blah blah. Or like Chitanda turns to Hotaru, is like, please help me with this. Blah blah. Right? That happens. X number of minutes where they kind of run around and look at various items and they Sherlock Holmes the entire thing. And then a couple of minutes where at the end where Chitanda's like, oh Hotaru, you did well. Blah blah. And then resolution helps out. This is like if you have 18 minutes of an anime episode, literally like 17 minutes of it will just be Jogoro doing deductions. Like just talking about like how this could be. Like, oh, you had this item, but then he was this part in the city when blah 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 happened. But then there's like a this much percent probability that that he was doing it for that reason. And why couldn't he have been doing it for the other reason? Blah blah. And that'll literally go for all for 17 minutes. And then like he'll solve it, obviously, right? Um, and then the 1 minute left is just like, oh yeah, that happened. That was pretty cool. And then like Jogoro just like meets up with uh Osanai, the girl, and then they're like, oh, we'll just have some tea, and then it ends. Like even the resolution just gets like the cathartic resolution just gets punted off to the side, and just almost all of it is just about the mystery. So it's very interesting. It's almost like a thought experiment the way that these episodes are panned out, and um, some of the foreshadowing and like hints for the audience and for the mystery series and stuff like that for the mystery at hand is a little bit on the nose at times, and it's like, yeah, sure, but I mean that's not like a terrible thing necessarily, right? Obviously, this was be, eh, for like an anime, for like manga, because it's more short form, and not manga, but for an anime, because it's more short form, and this was clearly made for a more casual audience, right? It's obvious that some of it will be some of the foreshadowing and for some of the hints for the audience will be a little bit more on the nose. But other than that, it's like just chock full of mystery. It's all discussion, all deduction, all hints for the audience. Like this is what's going on. These are like the deductions that Jogoro is going through. That takes up a super majority of the episode, and that's almost pretty much like almost every episode. Um, Plus or minus, like there are small bits and parts where they're like, oh, this character gets in trouble, or like this character does a little bit of hint about their background, stuff like that. But then it gets right back into the mystery discussions essentially. So Shoushimin. So I think Yonezawa said in an interview that Shoushimin's later volumes, especially, was supposed to be a little bit more based towards a wider, more casual audience. But Yonezawa, I think he didn't say this in any of his interviews, but he takes a similar turn that someone like Agatha Christie or Arthur Conan Doyle did towards their approaches to writing mysteries. So what happened was like both of them kind of got tired of writing for their main characters, right? For their kind of cash cows. So for Sir um, Arthur Conan Doyle, it would be uh, what was it? It would be Holmes, right? Why the fuck did I why why the fuck did I get what yeah. So it would be for Sir Arthur Conan Doyle it would be Holmes. He got a little bit tired of writing about Holmes all the time. And Agatha Christie became tired of writing about, Hercule Poirot, right? And I think Yonezawa also kind of took a similar thing where he took the focus a little bit away from the characters and he just started writing mystery stuff, like individual mystery stories. He didn't really. Shoshimin is a lot more just about the mystery stories individually than they are about the characters, about Jogoro or about Osanai. Like obviously they have this looming background where they're like, oh, we're supposed to, you know, hide our awesome deduction skill, blah 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 blah. Like they have that looming in the background, but for the most part, the hyper focus is on the individual mysteries themselves, even more so than Kyoka, even more so than any story within the Clotembo series. So that's very interesting, I think, in that sense, where it's just like Yonezawa is just like, yeah, just eat it, just eat these mysteries, like that's what you want, right? Just mysteries. So, um, I think that's a very interesting contrast and for better or for worse, Shoshimin tries to minimize or it doesn't seem it tries to minimize a lot of these like character background developments or even doesn't seem very interested in properly developing it past slow spurts of like background exposition. So other than just vaguely mentioning what Osanai is like, vaguely mentioning what the the pains that Jogoro went through before that made him become a little bit more recluse and reluctant to do his deduction stuff. Other than these sorts of like very brief foreshadowing, implication, vague, fuzzy kind of expositions, there's really nothing about the characters that really advance the development. It's pretty much just the mysteries, mystery all the time, mystery here, mystery there, mystery everywhere. So uh, I think if you are in it for the mystery stuff solely, and you were a little bit disappointed by, say, Hyoka kind of doing the will they, won't they with Chitanda and Hotaro all the time, I think you'll like Shoshimin a lot more because it just, boom, it just throws the mystery stuff at you and it doesn't really focus on anything else that much. The mysteries themselves do go back and forth between kind of smaller mundane stuff, right? Like who stole the cupcake or who ate the cake or stuff like that versus more larger, more serious stories that involve actual crimes and so on. So, that's standard for most mystery writers, right? Sometimes they'll just have small stuff. Sometimes they'll be this huge, grandiose setup. Um, and some of these larger series stories do affect the overall series character expositions and the like, and kind of advance that sort of development a little bit. But I would say again, Shoshimin doesn't really focus on that as much. Overall, in terms of the anime adaptation itself, I think the storyboard pacing can be a little bit plodding at times. So there's a lot of kind of people sitting down. They're kind of opening their burgers, just eating the cupcake, and then kind of talking a little bit, and then kind of ramping up into the uh, mystery kind of deduction and kind of solving the case. And the slowness of the pacing kind of tends to mute or dull the level of intensity or seriousness when actual dramatic scenes come into play because it's so slow that when finally the news hits and they're like they kidnapped XYZ, then you're just like, okay, well, these characters have been sipping tea for the past 30 minutes, and now you're suddenly just like, yeah, they kidnapped the girl. It's like, okay. So I think the pacing kind of detracts from the seriousness a little bit. And I think it also kind of sometimes makes the BGM, the intense BGM that suddenly blares through when the serious things happens, it makes that a little bit cheesy as well, just because of the too harsh of a contrast. But I will say that the slower pace is at least justified by the nature of the series because it's a very slow slice of life, not slice of life, but like school life plus mystery kind of series, right? So you're not expecting a super high pace action kind of cyberpunk kind of series, right? That's not what you're here for. So the slower pace is justified, but I do think that this sort of pacing, the slower pacing that sometimes detracts from the overall atmosphere and vibe of the story has been, in my opinion, a slight running theme with Onotoshi related works. So I don't know. I think it fits this series, but I do think that there are some points where that sort of slow pace does detract from the overall vibe of the anime. Um, as I might have implied before, the interpersonal character developments as well as the character background expositions in Shoushimin are a little bit spotty. They're not resolved as much, they're not pushed forward as much. They're often thrown kind of to the wayside as opposed to what happens in Hyoka, where that gets more coherently resolved a little bit more in Hyoka. In Shoushimin, it's a lot of more hand waving and kind of, all right, yeah, that's cool. Like the girl is next to the guy, but like let's kind of move on to the next mystery kind of business. Um, and so that's a little bit spotty at times, but in terms of an almost, as I mentioned, almost thought experiment like a very pure mystery focused series, not a detective series, not a series where the main character comes in and just magically solves everything, although the audience didn't see any of it. The audience sees a lot of these things. And Shoshimin has this thing where during the mystery discussions, Jogoro kind of goes through and interrogates various people and they answer, you know, with what they have in hand. And so the audience can see the information building up and can help solve the case by themselves. So again, very nice mystery series. And in that sort of box, in terms of like just being a fun mystery series where the audience gets to try to solve the case, I would say Shoshimin is probably at or near the top within like all of the anime that I've seen and all sort of mystery related anime that I know within the industry. So I would say very, 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 very like distilled, high quality mystery writing work done by Yonezawa. And I think if you like that sort of stuff, you should watch it. Like there's no reason for you to not watch or read Shoshimin if you like mystery writing and if you watch anime. Like you should just watch it. So I would definitely recommend for that. And but I would warn people that again, the pushing forward and the resolution of the character developments and the interpersonal relations and why is Jogoro this way? Why is that little girl this way? But that there's not as much resolution in that, but Shoshimin makes it very clear that the writing doesn't focus on that sort of resolution. It focuses on the journey, the mystery solving, the case that's played out, the giving hints to the audience, letting the audience solve all the mysteries. So because the focus is so much on that, and you know from the onset that the focus is so much on that, I don't think having a coherent resolution of the different characters matters as much. It's the same sort of tack that I took on for, say, Oshinoko, at least on the onset of that series, right? Because people were like, "What? The little kids did the reincarnation, and then they have to solve the mystery, blah blah blah." But the initial starting themes of Oshinoko weren't really focused on the mystery, or on the murder mystery, right? It was focused on what it was like to be an idol, dealing with social media, stuff like that, right? So because of that was obvious that that was what uh, Akasaka Aka was aiming for with Oshinoko, I gave it a higher score, despite the whole other reincarnation murder mystery shenanigans being flat or not or whatever, right? Because that was not really the point of that series up until that point. So, in that same sense, Shoshimin is not really about the characters finding out more about themselves or whatever. It's just pure mystery goodness. It's just mystery discussions, solving mystery, letting the audience solve the mystery. It's just that all the fucking time. It's just those stories back to back to back to back to back. So, in that sense, I think it does it very, very well. I don't really have too much to complain about the audio visuals. I think they're done very well. Uh, so overall, I will probably give this an 8.8, maybe an 8.9. I think, as I mentioned in a YouTube comment a while back, 9 and above is really for me to start seriously considering the series like an anime of the year contender, right? So I think it's close to being an anime of the year contender potentially, but I think it's missing a little bit something. That little bit something is probably again some more like coherent character kind of pushing forward. Maybe like the characters maybe shouldn't have had that premise in the first place. Um, but I think if it had that little bit of push on that aspect, it would definitely have become an anime of the year contender for me. I think just pushing it with the mystery itself is very, very good, but I don't think that it makes it necessarily an anime of the year candidate. I could probably change my opinions later on. I do think this is a very, very, very solid, very good series. Um, do I think that it has again that spark to become anime of the year? Um, Maybe not, probably not, but we'll see. But it is a very, very good series. Again, if you like mystery writing, if you like stuff like Sherlock Holmes or Agatha Christie, if you like Kyoka, the mysteries in Kyoka and how it was presented, and you're an anime watcher, you have no reason to not watch this. So, for mystery fans out there, check this one out.
Oh yeah,
So
Spire.
yeah, yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
What's your favorite Agatha Christie novel?
My my favorite Agatha Christie novel? I haven't actually read that many what is it? Ones other than what was it the Midwinter Murder kind of stuff. But yeah, I haven't read much Agatha Christie stuff other than Midwinter Murder, that book. But
My favorite
yeah,
is And Then There Were None. I'm not allowed to say the original title at all.
okay.
Do you know the original
Um,
title, Spire?
no, I don't. Yeah, I don't
In
know. But
America, we call it 10 Little Indians. In the UK, they say a different 10 Little somethings. It's really bad.
okay.
I'm not allowed to say it.
Okay, I think I get a sense of what it might be, but yeah, I haven't read too much Agatha Christie stuff.
Here, Spire,
I've
here you
mainly,
go. It should show. Yeah, there it is. Oh God.
yeah. But anyways, yeah, that's about what I predicted. But anyways, that was my review of Shoushimin series. This was again
Oh,
a
but Spire,
novel,
hold on. Is he
original.
better than Detective Conan?
I
Is he smarter than Conan?
I don't know whether he would be smarter. But I mean, the Conan is literally a boy genius kind of vibes. But
Are you saying
I
they're
think
not boy and girl genius? No, they're nor even when they're
they're pretty
trying
good.
not to be normals, they're
Yeah, yeah. I guess they are geniuses, but yeah, I don't know. I think they will be about the same because at the end they're kind of all solving similar kind of levels of mysteries, anyways. But
yeah. But
um,
didn't you say that they start slow from like who ate this cupcake? Every time Conan has to solve a murder mystery every single time, so his is big deal.
Yeah, that's true. Conan does have to solve like serious mysteries every freaking day. So yeah, I guess it would be Conan. But yeah, anyways, I do want to move on. So this was the Shoushimin series, and this was a novel original, again done by Yonezawa Honobu, uh, author of the Kotenbu series, Hyoka, stuff like that. He is a pretty good mystery writer in general there. And yeah, this is an anime adaptation done by was it Lapin Track, who was behind stuff like Sarazanmai, who did what else? I think a couple others. Yeah, recently Undead Girl Murder Farce. And yeah, they did a really good work job on this as well. I don't have
Wait,
really any
Undead Girl Murder.
yes. Yes,
Is that
Undead
the
Girl
one?
Murder Farce.
Didn't Nier cover that one because it was a funny title?
Yes,
Or what?
I mentioned how Nier
Oh
gave
yeah.
it a pretty positive review. Yeah.
Who did the
But yeah,
Detectives Already Dead?
I did.
That's not the
I
same one. Or
reviewed that
no, I
one.
mean, who is that? The same author? No.
No, it is not the same
Okay.
author. Yeah, and that has a very different bent. It's like that's a little bit more of a general kind of again what I call a detective series. Like they already kind of solved that shit, or the genius kind of solves that shit when they got in the room and doesn't tell the audience about it. And it's a little bit that's a little bit more like supernatural action focused than anything else. But yeah, anyways, so yeah, again, Shoushimin series, pretty good. Just like how Hyoka is one of my most favorite series of all time alongside Kotembu stuff in general. This is another very very solid series out by Yonezawa. So again, if you like mystery stuff, please do check this out.
So anime of the year for you? Gotcha.
I literally said it was probably not an anime of the year contender for me.
I don't know, man.
um,
Maybe, well, I mean, I meant season.
for season, yeah, I mean for season definitely it's up there, at least top three. But yeah.
3, huh?
But yeah, that was my review for the Shoushimin series. And with that, we're going to move on quickly to the news here. A lot of kind of news to blasters, so bear with me. I'm just going to, first off, we have Studio Mayflower and its CEO Taisei Tatano announced on Tuesday that the studio has appointed Chainsaw Man director Nakayama Ryu as chief creative officer. I think um, we talked about Studio Mayflower in the last episode or a couple of episodes before, but it was like a relatively new studio they created. Um, they are trying to aiming to create a IP that quote unquote utilizes the latest technology, and I'm sure it'll be
Smile.
AI something or the
Yeah.
yeah smile AI something or the other. I hope it's like some like proper 3D technology stuff instead of AI whatever, but we'll see. They are working on some other stuff that's that hasn't been uh aired yet. I think but yeah, they did Taisei Tatano, who was the Taisei, who is the founder. He founded it in winter 2023. He previously worked with stuff like Sanrio and other kind of like various websites and like program applications stuff like that. So yeah, he's trying to gather some talented people here. We'll see where it goes. Again, I hope it's not just yeah, we're just gonna boot up AI technology and see where it goes kind of business. And I hope it's like it shows some pretty good results there. Next, some Mary Brain news. Some great news from the United States of America. The Brevard Public Schools Board in Florida banned the first volume of Harusono Show's Sasaki to Miyano, Boys Love Manga, from the district's school libraries during a board meeting on August 27th. A person in the district challenged the book's inclusion in the
I
school's
like how
libraries on
it's. I
grounds that.
love how it is a person in the district. By the way,
Yeah,
because it's
yeah.
some like fucking fat slob who doesn't have children.
Women like Women
Like
of Liberty or
specifically
whatever that
not
organization.
specifically
Yeah.
like not a parent in the district or a parent
Yeah.
from the school, a person
Oh.
from the district. Hmm.
So they complained. They brought objections on the grounds that "quote unquote" sexual orientation should not be encouraged, suggested, or implanted in the youth. Blah blah. The
The
complaint also
youth.
included yeah, implanted. I think is the big part. Yeah, the complaint also included concerns that children will be "quote unquote" exposed to age inappropriate, obscene, or explicit content, and that there was "quote unquote" this is the best part. There was "quote unquote" no value in making homosexual books available at school.
True.
What does
Like
that
again, the wording here is very important
mean?
because once
Yeah.
again, children. Really weird thing for a concerned parent to not say, I don't want my kids seeing this.
I also
And
find it funny.
instead saying
You know how
children, almost as if they
yeah,
don't have any.
yeah. Also it's like a long while back we talked about how there's one guy that we saw where it's like uh, yeah, Mage in a Barrel, whoever that reviewer is, it's like he talks about, oh, I watched this anime, but I didn't get any value out of it, or whatever, some stupid
Yeah,
ass
there's no
statement like
value.
that, right?
There's no net
Yeah, there was
value.
no
I don't think
value
that
that
was
came
I
from
to be
this.
fair, I don't think that was him.
Oh, okay, it might have been somebody else, but yeah,
If
it's
I'm
like the
not
same
mistaken.
kind of
That may have
vibes.
been a
Yeah,
stupid fucking like mall article.
yeah, yeah. There's this is like similar vibes where it's like there's no value in making homosexual books available at school. I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? You know, with no value? Like, what is this? Like some sort of like market? Like, what are you?
And
Are
people
you literal
need
marketplace of ideas?
reasons
Really?
to go to the
Yeah,
library. I think that's what
yeah.
I'm thinking all the time. I'm like, you know what? People are just going to the
What
library too
value
much
can I
to
get
find
from
things.
you?
So realistically, I
Yeah,
think we should just like have less things in there, honestly.
yeah, exactly. Oh my God. Anyways, next piece of news here. We have something interesting that I kind of just wanted to bring up real quick. Potential kind of trend here. The Kickstarter crowdfunding campaign for the overseas edition independent Yuri magazine, Galette, ended on Monday, surpassing its 1.8 million yen goal and earning about 7 million yen from 619 backers. The campaign aims to re-edit and translate special overseas editions of the magazine in English. Blah blah. But yeah, it's like a Yuri magazine that's like independently published and is trying to get crowdfunding to get overseas localization. And while I
Nah, I'm
think that
pushing for a
this is
federal
like
ban. Sorry.
yeah, there's no
I don't see the
value in
value
getting these homosexual books. Yeah, exactly.
in
But
importing these homosexual books.
yeah, having these implanted in our children. But yeah, so this started apparently in this magazine started up in 2017. And why I think that these sorts of like smaller independent publishing, series and getting these authors and whatever across to international people and getting it funded here and there is fine. What I'm kind of afraid of is that bigger companies will potentially seize upon this and will just use this as an opportunity to just suck money from people to try to cover their localization costs. You know what I
Another,
mean? Where
yeah,
it's like, yeah,
another like make the Kickstarter, even though you're like a fucking $1 billion company, just to gauge
yeah, and then
interest.
and then they'll suck that localization cost up, and then they'll sell the magazine back to them, being like, "Oh, you still have to sign up for for the membership, and you have to buy the different manga for using the coins or whatever, using the coin system." And so they'll try to double dip on the customers. So
Yeah,
that's
it'll
what
be
I'm
like you
really
get
afraid
like
of,
1 month
honestly.
free.
Yeah, exactly. Backers get one extra manga page that they can read. It's like fuck you. Yeah. Next, the Philippines Ramon
Hey, that's me.
Magsaysay Award honors Studio Ghibli co-founder and The Boy and Heron director Miyazaki Hayao with the award on Saturday. The award,
Wow.
named after the Philippines' seventh president and presented annually at every August 31st, honors greatness of spirit shown in service to the peoples of Asia, regardless of gender or race, gender, or religion. So yeah, congratulations to Miyazaki Hayao. he'll take another 10 years where he talks about,
Surely he will.
making
Surely this time he will stay in retirement and will
yeah, exactly.
will not get bored after like
Oh my
1 year and be like, you know what, never mind.
yeah.
You know what the
Come
last
out
thing
72 years later, I'm still writing a storyboard.
you know what the last thing that the Philippines has done for anime was?
What?
They did a live action remake of Voltes 5. That's about it. And from that the actual one from Toei. That was cool, I guess.
Yeah.
And that's not true. It was featured in Hathaway's Flash.
Oh damn, you got me there. Or no, hold on. Uh, Voltes 5 Legacy was last year, 2023. Hathaway's Flash.
Oh
Man,
shit.
how long has it been since Hathaway's Flash? Oh Jesus.
Yeah.
2021. Oh my
Yeah.
God. When's the next one?
Any day now we're getting the sequel.
Anyways, next piece of news here. These are gonna be some names that we've heard before. We've talked about this on the podcast before, but AI localization company Orange Incorporated launched this new ebook store service Imaki in the United States and Canada on Tuesday. You know what? This Orange Incorporated is really ruining the Orange name for a lot of
Yeah,
Orange other organizations named Orange in general, especially Orange Studio. Just bringing down the average real hard. Uh, the company also announced its partnership with Shueisha to localize one-shot manga series from Shueisha's Shonen Jump Plus manga magazine service. The Maki platform features approximately 6,000 volumes of manga from 13 publishers in its launch, with plans to add at least one new title previously unpublished in English every week. Orange Incorporated announced that it has secured translation, publishing, and distribution rights from publishers including Shonen Hosha, Futabasha, and Akita Publishing. The company also acquired distribution rights from Kodansha USA Publishing. Blah 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 blah. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what to say. It's here. They're trying to make all the monies off of the AI translation stuff. Pray to Jesus. Next, Square Enix's Manga Up Global announced manga partnership with Anime Planet. So they announced a new partnership on Tuesday between its Manga Up Global service and online database Anime Planet for manga distribution. Select manga chapters from popular series on Manga Up will now be available on Manga Planet's manga reading service for free. Honestly, like it'll start up as a partnership, but it's probably also like they're like Square Enix is probably looking to acquire Anime Planet itself down the road.
probably.
And again, it'll kind of it'll start consolidating, and we'll see who kind of wins out at the end of the day. And last piece of news before we go into a couple of other kind of people news, I guess here is Tokyo MX, which is sort of like the main kind of anime channel in Japan, announced on Wednesday a new anime programming block and the schedule changes for its other anime time slots starting in December. The channel will start the new programming block on October on the prime time slot every Thursday at 9:25 p.m. JST. Tokyo MX will also move its kids anime time slot from 6:30 p.m. to 7 to kind of 9 p.m. JST on weekdays. So that's stuff like Gegege no Kitaro, Precure stuff, Ojamajo Doremi, like legit kids stuff. The channel's late night anime time slot that will start from 10 p.m. JST onward will feature popular anime series such as the third season of ReZero, and Sword Art Online Alternative, Gun Online 2, stuff like that. So yeah. Um, so yeah. So kind of a couple of shifts there. And a little bit on the people news here. So for those of you who know, there's a very famous anime song singing duo called Claris in Japan, and they've done a lot of very famous anime songs. Uh, Irony, uh, what? Why am I forgetting the Megaka opening? What was Madoka's opening name? Uh, they did Arise, I think, for Licorice Recoil. Madoka's opening, which I'm forgetting, Connect by
Yeah.
Claris. So they've done a couple of these things. originally the duo was between two singers, Clara and Alice. Alice left, I think, a couple of years after the group was formed. They brought in Karen, and now Karen, of singing to Claris, is now officially leaving. She's giving her reasons to be like she wants to do other stuff. She um she's getting married, she's raising a family, stuff like that. So she's leaving as well. So Clara is alone again, and I am
Maybe Clara's just
s-
annoying.
yeah, maybe Clara is the problem at this point. Hashtag fuck Clara. Please don't blame us. She added that she added that she will keep singing as she did before and asked fans for their continued support of Claris. But I feel like at this point, after two people have left, like it'll be one thing if obviously if Clara herself just does solo activities. But I think the dual era of Claris is over. It'll be like a Calafina situation where it's like it's done. Or like
Probably.
maybe they'll do the thing where I mentioned this to you guys recently or before, right? Recently I think where I was kind of joking about the Fripside situation. I think I mentioned this, but it was like Fripside and Nanja Yoshino kind of moved past each other, like kind of separated. They're like Nanja Yoshino's like, oh, I'm gonna do my own stuff, blah blah. Blah. It's been a long time with Fripside, but I'm moving on, kind of business, right? But then, but then recently, like they've just been coming back together again and again. It's been like it's turned from Fripside with Yoshino Nanja to Fripside featuring Yoshino Nanja, and they just keep having her back because they make money when they're together, right? And I feel like they'll probably Claris might try something similar where they'll bring back Alice or they'll bring back Karen or whatever, Karen or and maybe try another song. But it feels like the duo days of Clarissa is probably over unless they can get a third person. And I mean, lightning already struck twice, right? But will it strike a third time? I don't think so. So, um, very unfortunate for I think end of an era potentially for Claris, but we'll see how it goes. So yeah,
Their best
uh,
song.
their best song. Oh, I would say it's probably Licorice Recoil
Lick,
opening. I
lick.
like that the most. Yeah, Licorice Recoil Alive, like Claris. Like the thing is, their previous stuff again, like Connect, Irony, so on. I like I like those a decent amount too, and they're obviously classics. But I like Alive a lot just because of how it kind of separates like the two voices a lot more. Because a lot of Claris songs they just kind of have the two people, the duo, kind of singing the same lines. And I think separating the two is like that's sort of the point of a duo at the end of the day, right? Like you have the separate voices. So because Alive has a lot more of that, I like that a lot more. So, but yeah. Anyways, that was it for the person use, and I guess with that, we will move on to our shoutouts and callouts here. Everybody here gets one shout out and one call out each. Shout out is something that you want to praise. 5 out of 5 stars on Yelp. Being any one person, place, or thing. And call out is the exact opposite. Something that you want to insult. 0 out of 5 stars, rant about. And it can be any one person, place, or thing. And we start now with Near.
Shoutouts to Jane Doe. She's hot as fuck.
Nice.
Nair, I need to send you the mod that I saw on
uh
let me look for it.
Callouts to the fact that Fortnite still hasn't added the Black Cat skin to the shop. That shit's pissing
Yeah, it
me
turns
off.
out that's September 14th.
I wanna fucking buy that shit. Pissing me off.
Mm.
But yeah, that's it.
Alright.
Pretty much it.
Dark. Thank you very much, Near, for shout out call out. What about you, Dark?
Yeah, did I shout out? I must have already shouted out the new WoW expansion, right? Yeah, I
Pretty
definitely
sure, yeah.
did.
You probably
You
did,
know what?
yeah.
Actually, I'm gonna shout it out again because they announced their next update is the anniversary in I want to say it's going to be next month or in a couple weeks. Something like that. And it's going to be a whole ass patch, and it's really cool. They got a lot of cool armor remakes of old stuff. Real good.
Nice.
That game is so back. But yeah, that's been very cool.
All right. Call up.
We call out.
Russia.
You know, that's a good. Yeah, actually, you know what? I'm calling out foreign governments for not giving us $100,000 per episode.
What
What's
the
going on?
hell, dude?
What's going on, boys? All right, we
Where's our
listen. Hey
karma
guys,
back?
we'll settle
Where's our
Oh,
karma
there it
back?
is.
10K. Okay.
Yeah, I found it. Here you
We'll
go.
settle on 10K.
Let me post
Listen,
it.
you need me to say it was really fucked up that Ukraine invaded Russia's borders? I got you. It's fucked up. Anyway.
Yeah, are you sure this is not
no,
a mod and not the real one?
That's a fucking mod, bro.
That's
Oh,
100% a mod.
Oh, that's a shame because that's a pretty cool outfit.
No, I think my real call out's gonna be I mean, I guess this is like barely a call out, but it's gonna be to Sky Oblivion not being out yet. You know? Finish that shit.
Okay.
I know they said 2025, but
Just
I want to play
finish
Oblivion
games
again.
faster, bro.
Finish,
It's like the
finish your-
fucking. It's like the Capcom fucking. Did you see the I forget if it was Capcom themselves that like put that in their own like like I think it was like a financial statement or something where it was like I guess one of their investors or whatever, their shareholders was like, why don't you guys just release Monster Hunter right now? Like, what the hell?
That's
Literally.
wow.
And
You know
they're
what? They
and they're
never thought
press
about
the button
that.
right
They
now.
never
yeah,
thought about
and
that.
their reply was like, well, you have to finish the game first before releasing it as a product.
Let's get AI to finish the game, bro.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
listen, these shareholders literally here like, you had it playable at Gamescom, so isn't it
Yeah,
fun?
like why not just release that? What the
Yeah,
hell?
just. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's like, wow, we have one map and 2 monsters.
Yeah, one map and 2 monsters.
Yeah.
That's worth $70, I think.
Triple A games. But yeah. Anyways, thank you, Dark. What about you, Toast?
Oh.
Shout out call, please.
My shout out is to Hall IVN Recollections. Pretty cool. It just ended part 1, chapter 1 with the myth. So soon it's gonna be maybe next week or the week after that is part 2 with Promise. I sure hope Crony will be back from her trip from Spain because she's gonna be in this one. So yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, are you sure this is a
Okay.
mod? I'm looking it
Yes,
up and
dude.
I don't.
She's fucking got her fucking tits hanging out. What do you mean? Are you sure? Like,
Are you
I
sure this
because
porn isn't
I
is a mod?
I googled Jane Doe mods. It's this and it doesn't exist. So
My god.
okay,
Anyways, what about your
call out.
call out?
School shootings. They're bad.
true.
That is true.
I don't support them.
You- I think if you did support them, we would have a talk after this podcast. I think. But yeah. Anyways, uh, I guess my shout out call out. Shout out to Susuru TV. So I've been going through a diet recently, and Susuru TV is like the ramen king of YouTube. So he does like ramen reviews. He like does a couple of things where he like makes his own ramen recipes or whatever, or collabs
I
with
don't know how you
others.
watch that shit
But
like while on a diet. Like that's wild to
Oh,
me.
for me, it's just like it's mindless. It's just like me watching it for a little bit, and it's like, oh, that's nice. And then like moving on kind of business. But yeah,
How
it's
how
like
how have how have none of you shouted out the real OG who lost 250 pounds in 2 years?
avocado, avocado,
Bro, wait,
Mr.
what?
Avocado. Yeah,
Bro, what did he like? Did bro like hit Ozempic and like
Probably.
fucking clenbuterol at the same time? Like, what
See,
do you
what? Yeah, the
mean?
thing is, what happened with avocado is probably just he had so many videos that he could just afford to kind of secretly, sneak in some ridiculous diet, plus obviously some other like medications for like a couple of months, and then just come out be like, "Hey, fuck you all," kind of
What
business.
if he
But
just had a really good personal trainer?
chicken broccoli
I mean,
rice, yeah,
dude, bro, 250 in 2 years is like nuts.
yeah. But anyways, what was I gonna say? Yeah, so shout outs to God damn it, Toads.
Ah,
I forgot what
You shout out the ramen.
uh yeah, shout out the Susuru TV, the ramen channel, because I've been watching a lot of
I
the
thought you
reviews on like various
I thought you were gonna
yeah,
shout out
just
what's Concord?
What?
yeah,
What?
shout out Concord. But I'll get to that. But
Oh shit.
so yeah, so what is it? God damn it, Toast keeps okay. Susudu TV, shout outs to that channel because I've been watching a lot of ramen stuff and hopefully I'll be visiting some of those places next time when I'm back in next year when I'm back in Japan or so. Or maybe I'm thinking of whether I want to go to this winter Comic Con because I'm trying to plan on going to winter Comic Con instead of summer Comic Con because summer in Japan is now like full on typhoon season. In the last like I want to say 2 3 weeks, the Japan has literally been hit by 6 plus like 5 or 6 plus typhoons. It's actually kind of silly. So I feel like I'm just not really. It's not worth it to go to Summer Comic Con and potentially just lose my flight and be flooded in my hotel for days. That's not a thing I want to be, uh, faced with. So but anyways, I'll hopefully be able to visit a couple of those ramen places where when I'm back in Japan. But that's
Are you
my
going to the
shout out.
next when are you going? Are you gonna
Uh,
g- are you
again,
gonna go to
I
this are you
said
gonna go to the spa, the Gen Zero spa? You should.
I don't know about that, but well, we'll see.
I'll
But
I'll see you at
uh,
HoloLive 6 Fest, Fire.
yeah. Oh my God. My call out is to all of I don't know, it's very annoying. Obviously, I think for the most part, the American side of YouTube, the English speaking side of YouTube has kind of resolved the whole like Concord thing. Like, Concord failed because they just sucked at making a good game. Like,
It's because it's
and
woke.
I mean,
oh,
it
I
failed.
apologize. Yeah,
It
that's true.
failed. It failed because it's like y'all really tried to
You know,
sell Destiny 2 PvP $40. Like
yeah, with
what?
like not attractive models, and
In the
part of
middle
it
of
is also
nowhere?
yeah, Nier and I were kind of doing back and forth, and I want to reply, but I forgot to. But it's like I think right now, especially for stuff like hero shooters and FPSs, the way that studios design characters and just like general models have kind of bifurcated between it either looking completely like something like a Valorant or like an Overwatch, where they're just like, those sorts of kind of Disney Pixar-ish characters, right? Versus something like Warframe, where it's like full on, just like mech, kind of just like those like stylized designs. And there's not like a new pathway, you know what I mean? It's just those sorts of two paradigms. And within that sort of paradigm, there in terms of let's say if you didn't pick something like a Warframe kind of design or like mech design or whatever, right? It's not you're not doing like Gundam X versus or something like that. Then you're going down the Valorant Overwatch path. And in that sort of aspect, there's only so much you can do unless you're able to create really specific, unique, iconic designs, right? Unless you literally make you unless you're literally able to store lightning in a bottle and make a new hit popular Overwatch like kind of thing, you're not gonna get it. You know what I mean? You're just gonna be shitty. It's gonna be
Yeah,
the
I mean,
designs are just gonna be like
also
not good.
I think it's also
Or
well, it's also a thing
you can be
because
Valve.
Yeah.
and make
So
some of the worst
it's
designs
another option.
imaginable, and people be like, "Yo, these characters look sick," even
Yeah.
though they're like early alpha and look like ass.
Yeah, and I also
Um,
think that
some
just
of the
too
deadlock
much
designs are
like
fucking atrocious, but
yeah.
what I was gonna say is, I think where you're nailing there too, though, is one of the big issues with something like trying to make a hero shooter in the setting of um in the setting of Concord is,
Yeah.
from everything we saw in the trailer, it didn't really look like Concord had like super diverse factions, which like is
Mm.
what those games you named benefit from, right? Like
Yeah,
Overwatch
yeah,
has the Overwatch team, which is like the Mishmash people, but you have like, the Old West people. You have
yeah. Mhm.
like the Mecha, you have the villains, you have um like Egyptian like soldier, like the Egyptian characters. Shit like that, where it's like Concord is like, yeah, every single person is from this like like one area in a Guardians of the Galaxy world. And it's like,
They're
okay.
from Wisconsin. It's like, okay.
It's like,
Yeah.
hey guys, we've
It's
made
like
a hero shooter for Star Wars, and every single character is a different colored clone trooper. Like,
yeah, it's Darth Maul, but and
okay.
like Aayla Secura, but with different tints. It's like, okay, well, sure. It's like if you want like a simpler version, you just got to go the Halo route, where you essentially have suits and fucking like aliens, right? And it's like if
Yeah,
you're
and
not
just
gonna
like
do that,
cosmetics
if
and
you're not gonna
shit.
do Warframe, yeah, like you can't like you have then you're forced to beat Valorant and Overwatch in their game, and that's just a very hard call. It's just not something that's gonna happen easily. But yeah, I mean the thing that I wanted to call out, it wasn't really Concord, it was more. I mean, although Concord
Dust,
was
what is it?
made shittily.
Are you
Dustborn? Is
talking
that the
about
other
people
one?
people who like I think you're
What's
talking
the
about
other one?
Deadlock from Valve.
Yeah,
Deadlock. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, they're like, but but what I want to kind of call out was on the English side, a lot of that has kind of resolved, and obviously most of the sensible community, most of like the reasonable kind of like regular real life people are just like, yeah, Conquer kind of failed because it kind of sucked. But there's still a lot in the, like the non-English speaking community, especially on the internet side.
Oh, dude, I've seen
Especially
Japanese fucking people talking about it, and it's
yeah,
like so fucking bad.
yeah, and like Korean side a lot too, and it's kind of similar to how their lack of knowledge on people like, for instance, like Donald Trump or Elon Musk, and it's kind of same levels of like ignorance on Concord as well. It's like, you know why this game failed? Because woke, and it's like that's kind of dominating the
Not even
internet
10 years
um
behind. 10 years
space.
behind.
Yeah,
Is
so it's very upsetting for me to see that as a person, who wants to support the Korean gaming community, who wants to see, the gaming community, that sort of like community, in a less ignorant headspace. Them talking about, oh, it fucking failed because the wokers, the woke is fucking ruined it all, bro. And it's like, ah, god
I mean,
damn
it's
it,
also like
guys,
a
don't.
self-defeating, like it's so self-defeating too, because it's like, I mean, I guess like it still works either way for them, because the problem is like, you see a game like Stellar Blade, which is like a fine game in and of itself. Like that's why it
Hmm.
succeeded. It didn't succeed because it had like sexy lady in it. It succeeded because it was a decent game as well. Like, or well,
Yeah.
actually, probably from what I've seen, like a very good game. Um, like
Well,
that's not
Stellar
why
Blade
like,
was woke, so
yeah, because it censored like two outfits.
yeah.
Um, but like that's why it succeeded. Like just made the game not something people desired to play, then no one would have played it. Like
Yeah.
there people still do very much like to play action games like that.
Yeah.
Or like, semi Souls-ish action game. Like it's just it's really, really annoying. Because in a way,
Yeah.
or what I'm gonna say is not really self-defeating. It's like not giving those games the flowers that they deserve at that point. Like it'd be like saying like Wukong is only popular because like, Chinese people like buying Chinese things. It's like, no. Like it's also a fun game. Or like, oh, it's popular because of like some stupid fucking tweets the director put years ago. Like,
True.
no, it's a fun game. Like if the game is good, people play it. Like that's it. Same reason why, hey, guess what? You know what game is woke? Spider-Man. Spider-Man 2. Woke. But that was just my point. That
Yeah.
very dismissive why they're successful, ironically.
Yeah. Unfortunate. But yeah, that was my call out. And I guess with that, we are finally done with the episode here. Again, thank you everybody for listening in. This was our final episode for our summer 2024 reviews. Sorry if we didn't necessarily get to cover the series that you guys might want us to have covered, some, more niche series, but I think we pretty much covered all the hits this season. Next episode will be our infamous preview show for the fall 2024 season. So check that out
Yippee.
as well.
Oh yeah, also if you're not okay with the things that I covered, you're homophobic, so dwell on that.
Yeah. We covered all the things. We covered all of the boys fucking each other. But yeah, we have and our view counts reflect that, bro. We got all our popular stuff is all the all the interesting ones, so to say. But anyways, thank you everybody for listening. This for more content, we cover the latest and greatest in Japanese animation media, anime, manga, light novels, web novels, visual novels, and so much more. Check us out here on twitch.tv/4player animecast with a numeral 4, where we record our podcast live every other Saturday starting from 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have our highlights and sections and clips and full VODs here, as well as on YouTube. So whichever format you desire. And check us out on our social media as well. Facebook at 4Player Animecast, and Twitter, x.com at handle at 4PP Animecast. So check us out here, check us out there. And as always, we'll see you next time.